The divine sword is invincible. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 201. The sun rises from the west. However, when Yang Xiaoshan and others arrived at the Kinglian restaurant, it was already full. Just when Yang Xiaoshan and others were struggling to find a seat, they heard someone shouting in surprise, "Gojiang! Gojiang!" Hearing this familiar name, Yang Xiaoshan looked over. He saw that the prince of the ancient sword kingdom, Guzi, was sitting in a seat by the window, waving at him with a look of surprise. Yang Xiaoshan smiled when he saw that it was Guzi and walked over with everyone. "Gojiang." Guzi stood up, greeted Yang Xiaoshan warmly, and asked Yang Xiaoshan and others to take a seat. After Yang Xiaoshan sat down, he introduced Guzi's parents Yang Chao, Huang and others, and then asked with a smile, "Are you also here to participate in the Imperial Pharmacist competition?" Seeing Guzi in the Imperial capital surprised him. Guzi smiled and said, "With my half-baked medicine refining skills, how dare I come to the Imperial capital to show off my skills? I know that Yang Shen will definitely participate. I'm here to see how you, Yang Shen, win the championship." Yang Xiaoshan shook his head and did not continue to talk about this topic. He asked, "How long have you been in the Imperial capital? Do you have a place to stay? If not, come and stay at my mansion." Guzi's heart warmed, and he said gratefully, "Okay, then I thank Yang Shen very much." Then, Yang Xiaoshan called the young man from the restaurant and ordered 20 pots of Kinglian good wine. Because the first grade had already been sold out, Yang Xiaoshan could only order the second grade. Soon, the wine and dishes were served. As Wookiee said, Kinglian wine tastes good. After taking a sip, people feel as if the pores all over their bodies are wide open. Maybe because he is used to drinking the wine he brewed himself, Yang Xiaoshan always feels that Kinglian wine lacks a little taste. Everyone drank to their heart's content. After eating and drinking, Yang Xiaoshan paid the bill. When he and the others were walking out of the restaurant, Gu Shaozong was walking towards Kinglian restaurant with a pretty woman. The woman was Li Qian from Kinglian restaurant, and also the daughter of Li Jianghu. The two were good friends. "I heard that brother Gu is in urgent need of the innate sword spirit recently?" Li Qian asked. "Then I'll ask the people from Kinglian restaurant to help brother Gu find out." Gu Shaozong nodded and smiled. "Okay, thank you. There's no need to be polite between you and me." Li Qian shook her head. Gu Shaozong thought of the top grade innate sword spirit in Yang Xiaoshan's hand and said with hatred in his heart, "When I win the first place in this pharmacist competition and inherit the Imperial Pharmacist Hall, I will definitely expel Yang Xiaoshan from his identity as a pharmacist." Li Qian nodded. She also heard that Gu Shaozong wanted to use a medicine god cannon to exchange the innate sword spirit with Yang Xiaoshan, but was driven out by Yang Xiaoshan. She said, when Yang Xiaoshan was in Xiandao Imperial City, he led his men to break into the Xiandao Pharmacist Hall, injured a group of pharmacists, and stole many rare medicinal materials from the medicine hall. Such a lawless person should have been expelled from the medicine hall long ago. Such a person, wearing a pharmacist's robe, is a shame to us pharmacists. Yang Xiaoshan, Guzi and others walked out of the restaurant and happened to hear the conversation between Gu Shaozong and Li Qian in the distance. Wookiee and others were furious when they heard Li Qian say that Yang Xiaoshan wearing a pharmacist's robe was a shame to pharmacists. "My son wearing a pharmacist's robe is a shame to pharmacists. I think you are the shame of the Imperial Pharmacists." Liuan couldn't help but said angrily. Gu Shaozong and Li Qian looked up suddenly. Yang Xiaoshan. Gu Shaozong's face sank. When Li Qian heard that the person in front of her was Yang Xiaoshan, her beautiful eyes turned cold. "You are Yang Xiaoshan? Who allowed you to come to my Kinglian restaurant?" "Yang Xiaoshan, from now on, you and everyone around you are not allowed to enter my Kinglian restaurant." Gu Shaozong said to Yang Xiaoshan, "Yang Xiaoshan, this girl is Miss Qian from Kinglian restaurant, and Kinglian restaurant belongs to her." Yang Xiaoshan glanced at Li Qian and said coldly, "Kinglian wine is tasteless. From now on, even if your Lee family begs me, I will not enter your Kinglian restaurant. Will my Lee family beg you in the future? Lee Qian heard it, as if she heard a big joke. Yang Xiaoshan, do you think you are the Shenlong patriarch of our Shenlong empire? Kinglian restaurant has the support of Kinglian sword god. In the Shenlong empire, even the top 10 super sects dare not touch Kinglian restaurant. In the entire Shenlong empire, the only people who can make Kinglian restaurant afraid are Shenlong patriarch and the one of Tatian sect. Now, Yang Xiaoshan actually said that the people of the Li family would ask him for help in the future. No wonder Li Qian felt ridiculous. Gu Shaozang also shook his head and said, ignorance. After that, he turned around and was about to walk into the Kinglian restaurant with Li Qian. Do you really think you can win the championship of this pharmacist competition? Yang Xiaoshan suddenly said. Gu Shaozang was stunned and then said with disdain, if I can't win the championship of the pharmacist competition, can you, a martial king? He laughed and said, Yang Xiaoshan, you, a martial king, actually dare to sign up for the imperial pharmacist competition. If I were you, I would have dug a hole in the ground long ago. Think about tomorrow's pharmacist competition. Everyone can refine the Zuan level elixir, but you can't. Isn't that laughable? Yang Xiaoshan glanced at Gu Shaozang. You haven't seen me refine the elixir. How do you know that I can't refine the Zuan level elixir? After that, he took everyone away. Li Qian looked at Yang Xiaoshan's departing figure, shook her head and smiled. What an idiot. A martial king wants to refine a mysterious elixir. Gu Shaozang smiled and said, unless the sun can come out from the west. Yang Xiaoshan returned to Kinglian mansion, sat cross-legged on the cold jade bed, and practiced the dragon art. The Zuanwu martial soul and the black dragon martial soul floated behind him, devouring the 9 heavens of spiritual energy. After practicing these days, his Zuanwu martial soul and the black dragon martial soul have changed more and more amazingly. The runes on the tortoise shell of the Zuanwu martial soul are densely packed, and the light is surging. The whole body of the black dragon is floating with amazing golden flames. And around the golden flames, the power of darkness is rolling, like an endless dark world. Yang Xiaoshan has never heard of a black dragon with golden flames. The night finally faded. The morning sun shines on the earth. The whole imperial capital is boiling. The crowd is surging. Although it is expected that there will be a lot of people, when Yang Xiaoshan and others walked out of Kinglian mansion and saw the surging crowd in front of them, they were still stunned. How many people are needed? Tens of millions? Luo King looked at the endless black heads, his mouth dry. Looking at the densely packed streets ahead, Yang Xiaoshan had no choice but to release the Black Dragon King to clear the way. With the Black Dragon King clearing the way, Yang Xiaoshan and others finally arrived at the Imperial City Square. The Imperial City Square was also packed with people. Just as Yang Xiaoshan and others walked forward, they heard a commotion in the crowd and saw a group of masters from the Stepping Heaven sect coming from a distance. Wherever they passed, the strong men from all sides retreated. Long Xingshan was following behind the ancestor of the Stepping Heaven sect, Zhao Jinzhao, and walked into the Imperial City Square. Suddenly, he saw Yang Xiaoshan in the crowd, and his eyes were full of murderous intent. After Kinglian Mansion was bought by Yang Xiaoshan, although he did not sleep on the street these days, he and Zhu Zuan and others were squeezed in a small courtyard, which was as awkward as it could be. Zhu Zuan also saw Yang Xiaoshan at this time, and his eyes were also cold. He sent a message to Long Xingshan. After the pharmacist competition is over, we will kill Yang Xiaoshan, and Kinglian Mansion will also be ours. Long Xingshan nodded. They went through many channels, and spent a lot of money, to invite Shadow Knight Demon, who was ranked 3rd on the assassin list, to assassinate Yang Xiaoshan. Shadow Knight Demon could even successfully assassinate the 1st level of the Saint Realm. Yang Xiaoshan must die this time. Chapter 202. The BBQ is delicious. Shortly after Long Xingshan, Zhu Zuan and others arrived. Jiu Wu and Lan Yi from Fulong Sword Sect also arrived. The moment Lan Yi saw Yang Xiaoshan, the murderous intent in his eyes was like a pillar of fire, almost spraying on Yang Xiaoshan. Jiu Wu, the ancestor of Fulong Sword Sect, also looked at Yang Xiaoshan with a cold look. His disciple was driven out of the imperial capital by Yang Xiaoshan. In the past few days, the most talked about thing in the imperial capital after dinner was his disciples' expulsion from the imperial capital. Even he, as a master, became the subject of everyone's after dinner talk. When Jiu Wu passed in front of Yang Xiaoshan, he said in a voice that made people cold to the bone, "I haven't seen you for a year, and you surprised me." In this year, the changes in Yang Xiaoshan really surprised Jiu Wu and everyone in Fulong Sword Sect. Since Yang Xiaoshan killed Fang Heng and Zheng Biao, Yang Xiaolong has entered the sight of the top leaders of the major super sects in the empire. But people like you who are arrogant and look down on others will not live long. Jiu Wu said again. Yang Xiaoshan said calmly, "Don't worry about this." Jiu Wu snorted coldly and walked to the seat of Fulong Sword Sect with Lan Yi. Yang Xiaoshan looked at Jiu Wu's figure. His face was normal. These days, he learned about the strength of the top leaders of the 10 super sects. The elder level is generally from the 1st to the 6th level of the Holy Realm. The Supreme Elder is from the 7th to the 9th level of the Holy Realm. The Ancestor level is the 10th level of the Holy Realm. Although Jiu Wu has already broken through the 10th level of the Holy Realm, he is only at the peak of the early 10th level of the Holy Realm. Compared with Zhu Jing at the beginning, it is not a little bit worse. After Jiu Wu and Zhu Zuan, Gu Shaozong and Li Qian also arrived one after another. The two came together. When Gu Shaozong arrived, the square was in a commotion. Strong men and disciples from all sides greeted him, or bowed to him. Even when Jiu Wu arrived just now, he did not have such an influence. Although Jiu Wu is at the 10th level of the Holy Realm, the Shenlong Empire is not short of strong men at the 10th level of the Holy Realm. However, Gu Shaozong possesses the 7th ranked Strange Fire, the Burning Heaven Flame, and he has inherited the medicine god Sudan. Some people say that Gu Shaozong will hopefully become the second medicine god of the Shenlong Empire. Gu Shaozong nodded to everyone, and when he passed by Yang Xiaoshan, he smiled and said, "Yang Xiaoshan, you said yesterday that you can refine Zuan level elixirs. I hope you can really refine Zuan level elixirs today." As soon as Gu Shaozong said this, he immediately caused a commotion among the people around him. What? Yang Xiaoshan, a martial king, said that he can refine Zuan level elixirs. Even Long Xingshan and Lan Yi, who were far away, were stunned when they heard it. Jiu Wu also shook his head and smiled. "You ignorant boy." When Li Qian passed by Yang Xiaoshan, she naturally had a bad face. She was very disgusted with such lawless people who talk nonsense. As time went on, more and more strong people from all sides of the square, Liang Yafi, the ancestor of the True Dragon Divine Sect, also arrived with a group of masters from the True Dragon Divine Sect. Is that Zhu Maomio? Yang Xiaoshan's eyes fell on Zhu Maomio behind Liang Yafi. Luo King found out that Zhu Maomio and his sister Yang Linga didn't have a good relationship and had often made things difficult for his sister. Yes, she is Zhu Zuan's cousin Zhu Maomio. Luo King said. Zhu Maomio seemed to have noticed something and looked over at Yang Xiaoshan. When she saw Yang Xiaoshan, there was a subtle coldness in her eyes. After the major super sects of the empire arrived one after another, Shi Yangping, Wang Zhao, Chen Nian and other high-level officials of the Imperial Pharmacist Hall finally arrived. Shi Yangping, Wang Zhao and others came with the Imperial family. Yang Xiaoshan saw Long Lan, whom he met in the Red Moon Forest. He also saw the little girl King Zuan. King Zuan was following Long Lan boredly and suddenly saw Yang Xiaoshan in the crowd. She was surprised and waved happily and called out, "Brother Xiaoshan." Yang Xiaoshan also nodded and smiled. King Zuan's call surprised Gu Shaozong, Li Qian, Long Xingshan, Zhu Zuan, Lan Yi and others. "Your Highness knows Yang Xiaoshan?" Long Xingshan's face darkened. Zhu Zuan was also puzzled. This was the first time he knew about this. Shi Yangping walked up to the podium and sat down with everyone. He asked everyone with a smile, "Is that kid Yang Xiaoshan?" "He is Brother Xiaoshan." The girl King Zuan smiled. Shi Yangping asked with a smile, "Your Highness knows Yang Xiaoshan?" King Zuan nodded seriously and smiled. "Brother Xiaoshan's barbecue is delicious." "Barbecue is delicious?" Everyone was stunned. At this time, Wang Zhao's disciple Wu Yu whispered something to Wang Zhao. After listening, Wang Zhao smiled and said to everyone, my disciple just said that Yang Ocean boasted to Gu Xiaozhang that he could refine a mysterious level elixir today. Shi Yangping frowned when he heard it. King Zuan said, Brother Ocean is amazing. He went into the Red Moon Forest alone to subdue the beast. He can speak beast language and perform blood sacrifices. He also subdued a little green python. He said he could refine a mysterious grade elixir, so he can definitely refine a mysterious grade elixir. Longlan didn't take the little green python mentioned by King Zuan seriously. He shook his head and smiled. Ocean has a high talent for refining medicine, but he is only at the Martial King realm now. How could he possibly refine a mysterious grade elixir? It was the first time he heard of such an absurd thing, that a Martial King realm wanted to refine a mysterious grade elixir. Shi Yangping also shook his head. Even the god of medicine Sultan back then could not refine a mysterious grade elixir at the Martial King realm. The Martial King realm refining a mysterious grade elixir only existed in myths. Wang Zhao asked his disciple Wu Yu, how many pharmacists participated in this imperial pharmacist competition? More than 120,000 in total. Wu Yu replied respectfully, more than 120,000 people. Wang Zhao smiled and said to everyone, do you think Yang Ocean can make it into the top 100,000? Longlan remained silent. He had specially investigated Yang Ocean in the past few days and knew that Yang Ocean did not use a medicine cauldron and refined the best foundation building spirit liquid, which was extremely shocking. However, in this imperial pharmacist competition, Yang Ocean's strength was too weak, and the other participating pharmacists were almost all at the Martial Emperor realm. Even if Yang Ocean's medicine refining level was higher, I'm afraid he wouldn't be able to win a good ranking. Although it's not as bad as Wang Zhao said, it's still a long way to go for Yang Ocean to make it into the top 10,000. Seeing that the time was almost up, Shi Yangping asked the second elder Chen Nian to preside over the pharmacist competition. Chen Nian stood up, glanced at the strong men from all sides, and introduced the rules and rewards of this imperial pharmacist competition in detail, and then asked all participating pharmacists to come to the competition area. Yang Ocean, Gu Xiaozhang, Long Xingshan, Li Qian and others came to the competition area as instructed. Everyone will enter the medicine world later. I hope everyone will manage their time well. We only have 2 hours to find medicinal materials. Chen Nian said, and opened the space entrance to the medicine world. All participating pharmacists rushed in. The Imperial Pharmacist competition has 3 rounds in total. The first round is to enter the medicine world, to find more than dozens of medicinal materials for refining the 4 elephants elixir. And you must find them within 2 hours to pass. The medicine world is vast, and it is difficult to find more than dozens of medicinal materials within 2 hours. The most difficult thing is that everyone must be blindfolded before looking for medicinal materials. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 203, Yang Ocean will be the first to be eliminated. Blindfold your eyes and search for medicinal materials. This alone is enough to make many pharmacists retreat. Without eyes, you can only find medicinal materials by smelling, which is many times more difficult than the pharmacist competition that Yang Ocean participated in the Kingdom of Divine Sea. However, after entering the medicine world, Yang Ocean calmly covered his eyes with a black cloth. In order to prevent cheating, these black cloths were issued by the Imperial Pharmacist Hall. After blindfolding his eyes, Yang Ocean felt that the surroundings became quiet. There was a sound of wind flowing past his ears. Yang Ocean urged the power of his soul to sense the surroundings. Now, his soul power has a coverage range of 1000 meters. Even many supreme emperors do not have such soul power. When the soul power was unfolded, all the movements within 1000 meters around were clearly transmitted to Yang Ocean's mind. He used the 1000 swords of the sky and flew forward. There is a huge stone mirror in the Imperial Square, and everything in the medicine world is reflected in the stone mirror. Shi Yangping saw Yang Xiaoshan performing the 1,000 sky swords of the pinnacle realm and exclaimed, "The 1,000 sky swords of the pinnacle realm is worthy of being an unparalleled genius in swordsmanship." Chen Nian also praised, "As far as I know, Yang Xiaoshan has cultivated the 3 supreme magical powers of the myriad aspects sword technique, the shaking heaven sword technique, and the burial heaven sword technique to the pinnacle. Add this 1,000 sky swords, that's 4. It's rare for him to cultivate 4 supreme magical powers to the pinnacle at such a young age." Wang Zhao sneered, "Only 4. He is about to break through to the martial sect. With 4 pinnacles, he can only condense a top-grade golden elixir at most. Compared with the super geniuses from the 10 super sects who have condensed top-grade golden elixirs, he is not a little bit worse." Shi Yangping smiled and said, "Yang Xiaoshan has already condensed 5 9-color sword hearts. I believe that with his talent in swordsmanship, he will definitely be able to cultivate 10 supreme magical powers to the pinnacle before breaking through to the martial arts sect." Wang Zhao still sneered, "It's just 5 9-color sword hearts. Yu Yi from the Wuxiang Empire has already condensed the 6th sword heart, and it is also the strongest sword heart. Yu Yi has even cultivated 7 supreme magical powers to the pinnacle. Compared with Yu Yi, Yang Xiaoshan is simply rubbish." King Zuan listened to Wang Zhao's constant belittling of Yang Xiaoshan and couldn't help staring at Wang Zhao with his eyes and said angrily, "Brother Xiaoshan will definitely surpass Yu Yi in the future, and he will definitely condense a top-grade golden elixir in the future." Wang Zhao was embarrassed by King Zuan's retort, and it was not easy to argue with King Zuan. After all, King Zuan's identity was there, and she was still a little girl. In the medicine world, Yang Xiaoshan flew for a while and landed in front of a mountain. There was a huge medicine field in the mountain in front of him. There are thousands of medicinal herbs planted in the medicinal field. 7 flavor grass, one of the medicinal herbs used to refine the 4 elephants elixir, is in this medicinal field. However, the smell and color of many medicinal herbs around the 7 flavor grass are very similar to those of the 7 flavor grass, so it is not easy to find the 7 flavor grass. Yang Xiaoshan sniffed for a while, accurately came to the 7 flavor grass, pulled up and put away the 7 flavor grass, and then continued to look for other medicinal herbs. Shi Yangping has always been paying attention to Yang Xiaoshan. Seeing that Yang Xiaoshan found the 7 flavor grass accurately, he nodded in approval. To be honest, he admired this child very much. He set the rules for the first 2 rounds of this Imperial Pharmacist competition. In the first round, finding medicinal herbs does not require much strength at all, which is undoubtedly beneficial to Yang Xiaoshan, who is in the Martial King realm. However, he can only help Yang Xiaoshan in the first 2 rounds. In the 3rd round, what place Yang Xiaoshan can win depends on his luck. I hope this child can win the top 100, Shi Yangping said secretly. Although he knew it was impossible, he still hoped for a miracle. Only if Yang Xiaoshan won the top 100 in this competition could he join the Imperial Pharmacist Hall. Otherwise, even he could not help. With the support of a strong soul force, Yang Xiaoshan quickly found more than a dozen medicinal herbs. Due to the rules of the first round, it was not allowed to rob or attack other participating disciples, so everyone in the medicine world just tried to find medicinal herbs, and no fighting occurred. In less than 10 minutes, Yang Xiaoshan found all dozens of medicinal herbs, and then left the medicine world. Yang Xiaoshan was the first to come out. Seeing Yang Xiaoshan come out first, Wang Zhao snorted coldly. Jiu of Fulong Sword Sect was not in a good mood either. Yang Xiaoshan was lucky. He found all the medicinal herbs so quickly by scrabbling around. A disciple next to Jiu Wu said. Jiu Wu said coldly, "It's useless to perform well in the first 2 rounds. The ranking will be determined in the 3rd round. In the 3rd round, he can't make a Zuan level pill at all. Then he will be the first to be eliminated." The 2nd and 3rd people to come out of the medicine world were Gu Shaozong and Li Qianqian. When they saw Yang Xiaoshan come out before them, they all frowned. "It's just the first round," Li Qianqian said disdainfully. "It doesn't mean anything." Gu Shaozong nodded. 2 hours passed quickly, and in the end, only more than 50,000 people passed the first round. Next, it was the 2nd round. The 2nd round was for everyone to use the medicinal materials they found in the medicine world to make the 4-symbol spirit pill. The time was also 2 hours. However, unlike the usual alchemy, the second round also required blindfolding. It was already extremely difficult to find medicinal materials with blindfolded eyes in the first round, and the difficulty of refining pills with blindfolded eyes in the second round was more than doubled. You have to know that the fire of heaven and earth, if you don't control it carefully, it may burn the medicinal materials. Before blindfolding, Lang Yi winked at one of the participating disciples of Fulong Sword Sect. "Let's start refining the elixir now," Chen Nian said loudly, after everyone had covered their eyes. Yang Xiaoshan skillfully put the medicinal materials for the 4 elephants elixir into the elixir furnace in order, and then controlled the fire of heaven and earth to burn and melt them one by one. These operations seem simple, but if the order of the medicinal materials is wrong, or they are not completely melted, the elixir cannot be made. Just as Yang Xiaoshan was about to successfully melt all the medicinal materials, suddenly, the flame controlled by the participating disciple of the Fulong Sword Sect suddenly soared, and then rushed towards Yang Xiaoshan's medicinal materials like an out-of-control beast. Shi Yanping, King Xuan and others changed their faces. The flame of the participating disciple of the Fulong Sword Sect was extremely fierce. Once Yang Xiaoshan's medicinal materials were burned, they would be completely burned. By then, let alone participating in the third round, he would not be able to pass the second round. Be careful. King Sun, Wookie and others all spoke anxiously. Just as the opponent's flames were about to burn Yang Xiaoshan's herbs, suddenly, the medicine cauldron controlled by Yang Xiaoshan flashed, and the flames reversed, burning towards the Fulong Sword Sect disciple at a faster and fiercer speed. The Fulong Sword Sect disciple instantly turned into a fireman, screaming miserably. An unpleasant smell of burnt meat filled the air. The surrounding contestants were frightened and panicked. Lan Yi smelled the burnt meat smell, and his face couldn't help twitching. His hand shook, and he almost burned his own herbs. Tomorrow's 3 updates. Chapter 204 Whose Strange Fire is Garbage. Originally, there were still many pharmacists who wanted to secretly attack Yang Xiaoshan, but after seeing the fate of the Fulong Sword Sect disciple, they were all too scared to move. In the end, Yang Xiaoshan refined all the medicinal materials and melted them successfully. When the elixir was completed, the fragrance of the elixir filled the entire square. Everyone who smelled it felt refreshed. Shi Yanping, Longlan and others all had bright eyes. Just by smelling the fragrance of the elixir, the two knew that the quality of the 4 elephants spiritual pill refined by Yang Xiaoshan was definitely not low, at least it was the best. Sure enough, there was an appraiser on the scene, and after an appraisal, he excitedly said, "It is the top of the best, close to the best. The top of the best, close to the best." The strong men on the scene were all shocked. The best elixir also has different levels. The top of the best is the best elixir below the best. The key is that Yang Xiaoshan did not use any strange fire at all, and he refined the top quality 4 elephant spiritual pill. You should know that many pharmacists with strange fires cannot make the best pills. When Shi Yanping heard the appraiser say that Yang Xiaoshan's 4 symbol spirit pill was the best, he couldn't help but ask excitedly, "How long did Xiaoshan take just now?" 9 minutes. The appraiser answered excitedly. 9 minutes. Not even 10 minutes. He refined a top grade 4 symbol spirit pill. Although the 4 symbol spirit pill is only an innate elixir, everyone was still shocked. When Shi Yanping heard it, he laughed excitedly. Good. Good. 100 years later, in my empire, the god of medicine will reappear. Everyone was shocked when they heard it. What did the chief hall master mean just now is that 100 years later, Yang Xiaoshan will definitely become the god of medicine. Many people even looked at Gu Shaozong at the same time. If Yang Xiaoshan becomes the god of medicine in the future, what about Gu Shaozong? Gu Shaozong heard Shi Yanping's evaluation of Yang Xiaoshan, and he could not help but be jealous. Even if he had inherited the medicine god Sudan and showed his outstanding talent in medicine refining in front of Shi Yanping did not evaluate him in this way. Now, Yang Xiaoshan just refined a 4 elephant elixir, and he was judged to be able to become a medicine god in the future? Gu Shaozong thought about it and became more and more excited. He waved his hands repeatedly and even used the sun and moon shining together technique that he had never performed in front of everyone. Under the control of Gu Shaozong's hands, the fire of heaven and earth was divided into two different forms. One form was extremely soft and kept rotating, as if it turned into a bright moon. One form was extremely violent and fierce, forming a huge scorching sun. The two kinds of fire of heaven and earth, in the constant alternation, dozens of medicinal materials melted one by one. Sun and moon shine together. On the rostrum, Wang Zhao's disciple Wu Yu was shocked. Sun and moon shine together, the fifth of the 10 major medicine refining techniques. Great. Wang Zhao was excited when he saw Gu Shaozong perform the sun and moon technique, and he exclaimed, "You are worthy of being the first among the younger generation of pharmacists in my empire. You can even perform such an ancient technique as the sun and moon technique. And you are so proficient in it." The other elders of the Imperial Pharmacist Hall were also excited. The 10 great alchemy techniques are extremely difficult to learn and extremely rare. Even many old generation pharmacists have never seen such an alchemy technique as the sun and moon technique for the first time. Even Lu Yi, who had just been promoted to an elder of the Imperial Pharmacist Hall, exclaimed, "Young Master Gu will definitely become the pillar of my empire's medicine world in the future." Long Lan was also secretly impressed when he saw Gu Shaozong's sun and moon technique. He boasted that he had a good level of alchemy, but when he was young, he was far behind Gu Shaozong. In the amazement of everyone, Gu Shaozong refined and fused all the medicinal materials. Soon, the elixir was completed. When the elixir was completed, the fragrance of the elixir was also filled, and everyone was intoxicated by it. The appraiser excitedly stepped forward to appraise it. After hesitating for a moment, he still said truthfully, "It is a top-grade product." Top-grade product. Everyone's faces became colorful. It means that it is not the top of the top-grade products. The 4-elephant spirit pill that Gu Shaozong had just refined using the sun and moon technique was only a top-grade product. Gu Shaozong's face suddenly became ugly when he heard it. This is impossible. The 4-elephant spirit pill that our senior brother Gu refined cannot be just a top-grade product. A disciple of the ancient god palace could not help but say angrily. The appraiser frowned. At this time, Chen Nian flew down from the rostrum and personally appraised Gu Shaozong's 4-elephant spirit pill. After a moment, he glanced at everyone and said to Gu Shaozong and the ancient god palace disciple, "It is indeed a top-grade product." The ancient god palace disciple was speechless. Gu Shaozong clenched his fists. Usually, if a pharmacist refines a top-grade pill, it is a matter of joy, but at this time, he looked at the top-grade 4-elephant spirit pill he refined, and felt it was so dazzling. Yang Xiaoshan was able to refine top-grade pills without using the 10 major alchemy techniques. And what about him? Even with the use of the sun and moon, he still couldn't refine top-grade pills. Doesn't that mean that his level is not good enough? Men can't say they are not good enough. After a while, Li Qian, Long Xingkang, Lang Yi, Zhu Miaomio and others also succeeded in refining pills, but like Gu Shaozong, they were only top grade. 2 hours later, the second round ended, and more than 20 people refined top grade pills, but Yang Xiaoshan was the only one who reached the top grade. When Chen Nian read out the results, whether it was Gu Shaozong, Li Qian, or Long Xingkang, Lang Yi and others, their faces sank. Next, it was the third round. In the third round, everyone can play freely. Chen Nian said loudly, "Whoever refines the elixir with higher level, better quality and shorter time will be ranked higher." Hearing this, Long Xingkang smiled at Yang Xiaoshan and said, "Yang Xiaoshan, in the third round, we all have to refine Zuan level elixirs. You won't continue to refine the 4-symbol spiritual pill, right?" Li Qian, Zhu Miaomio and others all smiled. At this time, Long Xingkang's whole body was surging with purple light, and the 12th ranked Zluo extreme fire flew out, causing everyone around to exclaim, "Yang Xiaoshan, you said my Zluo extreme fire was garbage a few days ago. You also summoned your star flame to let everyone see whose alien fire is garbage." Long Xingkang smiled. Under the entanglement of the Zluo extreme fire, Long Xingkang was extremely powerful. Yang Xiaoshan actually said that Long Xingkang's purple Luo extreme fire is garbage. On the rostrum, Wang Zhao sneered. When he heard this, Yang Xiaoshan doesn't think that his star flame is one of the top 10 strange fires, does he? His disciple Wu Yu laughed. When he said that, he was probably not in his right mind, so he was talking nonsense. Lu Yi laughed. I'm afraid so. Yang Xiaoshan looked at Long Xingkang with a smug smile on his face and urged the power of the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame. At this moment, everyone at the scene heard a thunderous sound of a phoenix. No, to be precise, it was the sound of 9 phoenixes. The golden light in Yang Xiaoshan's body soared into the sky. 9 golden flame phoenixes flew out. At this moment, the amazing golden flames covered the sky. Under the impact of the golden flames, Long Xingkang's originally gorgeous purple Aluo extreme fire became dim, as if it would go out at any time. Long Xingkang almost suffocated. 9 Phoenix Golden Flame. On the rostrum, Shi Yangping, Long Lan and others exclaimed excitedly. Wang Zhao, Wu Yu, Li Qianqian, Lan Yi and others were all stunned. Awesome. Chapter 205 Who controls the sacred fire? Even Gu Shaozong was surprised. In addition to the flame of stars, Yang Xiaoshan also subdued the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame. The 9 Phoenix Golden Flame is the 9th ranked strange fire. How did Yang Xiaoshan subdue it? He almost died in order to subdue the burning heaven flame, and he subdued the burning heaven flame with a narrow escape when all the ancestors of the ancient god palace joined forces to suppress the burning heaven flame. But what about Yang Xiaoshan? How did Yang Xiaoshan do it? The strong men on the scene were also shocked, surprised, and surprised. Just when everyone was shocked, King Xuan stood up, her little face flushed with excitement, put her hands on her mouth, and shouted, Brother Xiaoshan, you are so good. Brother Xiaoshan, you are so good. This is so good. It almost made everyone imagine. Long Lan cleared her cough to ease the embarrassment. But King Xuan didn't seem to see her uncle Long Lan's embarrassment, and still shouted, Brother Xiaoshan, you are so great. Poof. On the rostrum, an elder of the medicine hall sprayed out the tea in his mouth. Almost sprayed on Wang Zhao. Wang Zhao's murderous eyes frightened the elder's neck. Long Lan looked at his niece in silence. You can just say great and wonderful, but you have to add a yo at the end. There are not so many yos in this world. Fortunately, he didn't drink tea just now. Hearing Princess King Xuan shouting Brother Xiaoshan is great and great on the rostrum, Long Xingkang, who was not in a good mood, looked even worse. He looked at the 9 golden phoenixes of fire above Yang Xiaoshan's head, and his eyes wanted to burst into flames, but they couldn't. Just when everyone was shocked by Yang Xiaoshan's 9 Phoenix Golden Flame, Gu Shaozong suddenly said, It's just the 9th strange fire. What's there to be proud of? It's just the 9th strange fire. Everyone was stunned. Suddenly, the flames in Gu Shaozong's body also soared into the sky, and the flames were stronger and more dazzling than the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame. Gu Shaozong's flames were so red, so overbearing, and so red, that they made people palpitate. A sea of red flames wrapped around Gu Shaozong's body. From a distance, Gu Shaozong seemed to be the god of fire. Flame of burning heaven. The strong men on the scene were all shocked. It was well known that Gu Shaozong possessed the 7th strange fire, the flame of burning heaven, but many people on the scene saw Gu Shaozong's flame of burning heaven for the first time. Yang Xiaoshan's 9 Phoenix Golden Flame and the 9 Phoenixes roared together with great power. But Gu Shaozong's flame of burning heaven was even more domineering, and the terrifying heat wave rolled as if it was going to burn the sky. Affected by the flame of burning heaven, both Long Xingkang's purple Aluo extreme fire and Yang Xiaoshan's 9 Phoenix Golden Flame were strongly suppressed. Long Xingkang's purple Aluo extreme fire was like a candle in the wind, swaying constantly. Yang Xiaoshan's 9 Phoenix Golden Flame was fine, but the golden flames on the 9 phoenixes had also weakened a little. Gu Shaozong stood in the center of the burning heaven flame, looking at Yang Xiaoshan's 9 Phoenix Golden Flame coldly and arrogantly. What about the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame? In my eyes, it's still garbage. What about the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame? It's still garbage. Gu Shaozong's domineering and arrogant words deeply shocked the strong men on the scene. On the rostrum, Wang Zhao clapped his hands and laughed wildly. What a burning heaven flame. Once the burning heaven flame comes out, who can compete with the strange fire in the world? Who can compete with the strange fire in the world? Wang Zhao's words shocked everyone. However, no one dared to refute. Because, as far as we know, the one with the highest ranking of strange fire in the Shenlong Empire is Gu Shaozang. Although the Imperial Pharmacist Hall has the flame of the earth, no one can conquer it. Everyone looked at Gu Shaozang's burning heaven flame in shock. Everyone was attracted by Gu Shaozang's burning heaven flame. Just when everyone was shocked by Gu Shaozang's burning heaven flame, suddenly, Yang Xiaoshan said, "It's just the burning heaven flame. In my eyes, it's still garbage." Everyone was stunned. When Gu Shaozang heard this, he seemed to have heard a big joke, and laughed wildly. "Yang Xiaoshan, from what you said, you have the top 6 strange fires." Then he stared at Yang Xiaoshan with murderous eyes. "Then summon your top 6 strange fires now for everyone to see." Then he said angrily, "I don't fucking believe you have the top 6 strange fires. If you can't summon the top 6 strange fires, I'll crush you." Gu Shaozang was furious to the extreme. Lang Yi, Long Xingkang, Li Qian and others also sneered. Naturally, they didn't believe that Yang Xiaoshan had 2 of the top 10 strange fires. No one in the Kangshen continent has ever had 2 of the top 10 strange fires. Everyone looked at Yang Xiaoshan with a strange look. Just when everyone looked at Yang Xiaoshan with a strange look, suddenly, the sky and the earth flickered, just like a light, suddenly dimmed, and suddenly recovered. Everyone was stunned and looked up at the sky. When everyone looked up at the sky, they saw that a terrifying thunder cloud appeared in the sky without any sign. The cloud rolled, and the thunder dragon rolled. The power of the thunderbolt that destroyed the heaven and earth enveloped the entire imperial capital. Everyone was terrified. Could it be that someone in the imperial capital was going to survive the heavenly tribulation? The power of the thunderbolt was triggered. Just when many people were terrified, suddenly, Wu Yu, a disciple behind Wang Zhao, pointed at Yang Xiaoshan, as if he had seen a ghost, and spoke incoherently. Wang Zhao couldn't help but look at Yang Xiaoshan. His eyes widened instantly, and saw that Yang Xiaoshan's body had suddenly appeared thousands of lightning bolts, and in the lightning bolts, there was a huge flame. The flame was like the sea, and it was grey. With Yang Xiaoshan as the center, a terrifying and abnormal heat wave swept across the world. Divine fire. Wang Zhao seemed to be extremely frightened, and his voice trembled. Fuck. An elder of the Imperial Pharmacist's Hall was so excited that he cursed. At this time, whether it was Shi Yangping, Long Lan, or the ancestor of the Fulong Sword Sect, Jiu Wu, etc., they all stood up. "It's the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire." Shi Yangping's lips trembled, and there were tears in his eyes. "It's the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire. It is almost impossible to subdue the Divine Fire. This kind of thing only exists in distant legends. And now, in his lifetime, he can actually see someone subdue the Divine Fire." Yang Xiaoshan stood there calmly, with thunder clouds rolling above his head. The power of the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire was overwhelming. At this moment, many of the oldest and most powerful beings sleeping in the deepest part of the land of the Dragon Empire were awakened. Who controls the power of the Divine Fire? Quickly check. Who exactly activated the power of the Divine Fire? Voices rang out one after another above the major super sects of the Empire. The leader of the True Dragon Divine Sect, Hunan, was discussing Yang Linger's matter with the masters of the True Dragon Divine Sect when he suddenly heard a majestic voice from the sky. "Everyone in the True Dragon Divine Sect, listen up. Use all the power of the True Dragon Divine Sect to find out who controls the Divine Fire." Hearing this majestic voice, Hunan was startled. This was the oldest and most powerful ancestor of their sect. Awesome. Chapter 206 Brother Xiaoshan, I love you too. After being shocked, Hunan's face changed in shock. What? Someone has controlled the Divine Fire. All the powerful people of the True Dragon sect in the hall were shocked. If someone controls the Divine Fire, this is a very serious matter. Check it for me. Check it quickly. Use all your strength to check it for me. Find out who controls the Divine Fire. Hunan stood up and shouted excitedly. At this time, the scene in the Imperial capital, under the power of Yang Xiaoshan's Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire, Gu Shaozang's burning sky flame, which was about to burn the sky, was like being poured with a basin of eternal ice, and it suddenly shrank back, and was completely dim. As for Longxinkang's purple Aluo extreme fire, it was completely without light and seemed to be on the verge of extinguishing. The blue lotus fire in Lan Yu's body was not under his control at all and flew out of his body automatically. Li Qianqian's strange fire also flew out of her body uncontrollably. At the scene, all the pharmacists who possessed strange fire and spiritual fire, the strange fire and spiritual fire in their bodies all flew out uncontrollably. All the strange fires and spiritual fires bowed down to Yang Zai Ocean's thunder tribulation divine fire, as if they were worshipping the Supreme King. This magnificent scene was unforgettable for all the pharmacists in the empire present. Gojiang. Someone in the crowd shouted excitedly. Everyone looked over and saw that it was Guzi, the prince of the ancient sword kingdom, who was shouting excitedly. Ignoring the looks of the crowd, Guzi raised his arms and shouted excitedly, Gojiang, I love you. Damn. Many people almost spit out the Kinglian wine they drank last night when they saw that Guzi was a man. On the rostrum, King Zuan's face flushed with excitement. She waved her pink arms and shouted, Brother Zai Ocean, I love you too. Longlan almost fell down. Gu Shaozan fell to the ground, looking at Yang Zai Ocean's thunder tribulation divine fire with a look of horror and even despair. It was not the first 6 strange fires. It was the divine fire. Divine fire. How could this be possible? Yang Zai Ocean, a martial king, how could he subdue the divine fire? Li Qianqian, Longxinkang, Lan Yi, Zhu Zuan and others were all extremely shocked. They had seen the divine fire before, but it was the first time they saw someone who could subdue it. How could this happen? Li Qianqian murmured to herself, greatly shocked. In her eyes, Yang Zai Ocean, who was the shame of pharmacists, could actually subdue the divine fire. In her eyes, Gu Shaozong had subdued the burning sky flame and obtained the inheritance of the god of medicine. He had always been the first among the younger generation of pharmacists in the Shenlong Empire. He had always been the legendary pharmacist she admired. But now, Yang Zai Ocean in front of her had subdued the divine fire. Moreover, he had refined a top-grade elixir without using the 10 major alchemy techniques. Gu Shaozang, the legendary pharmacist, was completely crushed. Just when everyone was shocked by Yang Zai Ocean's thunder and divine fire, Gu Shaozang suddenly shouted like crazy, Yang Zai Ocean, even if you have subdued the divine fire, you are at the martial king level, and you still can't refine a mysterious level elixir. The first place is still mine, and you can't even make it into the top 10,000. Gu Shaozang was hysterical, and his voice echoed in the square. Everyone looked at each other. Just now, they were all shocked by Yang Zai Ocean's thunder and divine fire, and didn't think too much for a while. Now, after listening to Gu Shaozang's words, everyone at the scene couldn't help but remain silent. As Gu Shaozang said, even if Yang Zai Ocean subdued the divine fire, he was only at the martial king level, and it was impossible for a martial king level to refine a mysterious level elixir. In this imperial pharmacist competition, Yang Zai Ocean will still be ranked outside the top 10,000. In the third round, there are still more than 11,000 pharmacists participating. Gu Shaozang smiled grimly. Yang Zai Ocean, you subdued the divine fire and participated in the imperial pharmacist competition, but you couldn't even enter the top 10,000. Think about how ironic it is. The Imperial History book will definitely record this incident, and you will be laughed at by future generations of masters. Yang Zai Ocean looked at Gu Shaozang, who was laughing wildly and grimly, and said calmly, who told you that the martial king realm can't refine Zuan level elixirs? Everyone was stunned. Gu Shaozang heard this, and laughed at everyone. Did you hear it? Yang Zai Ocean said that the martial king realm can also refine Zuan level elixirs. As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Zai Ocean took out more than 100 kinds of medicinal materials. These more than 100 kinds of medicinal materials are exactly the medicinal materials for refining the Zuan level elixir Taking Yuidan. Taking Yuidan is the most difficult kind of elixir among the Zuan level elixirs. It is also the best elixir to improve the true essence of the martial sect realm strongman. After taking out more than 100 kinds of medicinal materials, Yang Zai Ocean waved his right hand, and a strong wind blew, rolling up the medicinal materials one by one. Then, he waved his left hand, and the divine fire of thunder tribulation flowed, and turned into a mysterious pattern. Turbulent storm. Medicine array. Everyone was shocked. Turbulent storm is the 10th of the 10 major medicine refining techniques. And medicine array is the 2nd of the 10 major medicine refining techniques. Yangtze Ocean actually knows the 2nd of the 10 major medicine refining techniques. But what is Yangtze Ocean doing? Is Yangtze Ocean planning to use 2 techniques to refine pills at the same time? A pharmacist said with a chuckle. Using 2 techniques to refine pills at the same time. This is simply absurd. Shi Yanping and Longlan frowned. Using 2 techniques to refine pills at the same time is beyond imagination. They have never heard of anyone in Kangshen continent who can use 2 techniques to refine pills at the same time. Seeing this, Gu Shaozong smiled coldly. You are courting death. 10 major medicine refining techniques such as violent storms and medicine arrays are extremely difficult to control. You need to be extremely careful when refining pills with any of them. Once you can't control them, you will be attacked by the fire of heaven and earth and the strange fire. Once Yangtze Ocean loses control, he will be attacked by the thunder tribulation divine fire and the 9 phoenix golden flame. The power of the thunder tribulation divine fire is so terrifying that Yangtze Ocean will be burned to slag if it attacks. At this time, the array formed by the thunder tribulation divine fire shone and sucked up some of the medicinal materials. Under the control of Yangtze Ocean's left hand, the thunder tribulation divine fire overflowed little by little, and the medicinal materials continued to melt. Yangtze Ocean flicked his right hand, and the golden flames of the 9 phoenix golden flame continued to bounce into the wind, melting the other medicinal materials one by one. Watching this miraculous scene, everyone held their breath, and dared not speak, for fear of interrupting Yangtze Ocean. Even Wang Zhao and Wu Yu, the 2 masters and apprentices, held their breath and stared at Yangtze Ocean's movements without blinking, for fear of missing any details. The scene was quiet. It was supposed to be the 3rd round of competition, but now Yangtze Ocean was the only one refining medicine. However, affected by Yangtze Ocean's divine fire of thunder tribulation, Gu Shaozong and others were unable to control the strange fire, spiritual fire, and the fire of heaven and earth. Therefore, they could only wait until Yangtze Ocean finished refining before they could start. Under the nervous gaze of everyone, more than 100 kinds of medicinal materials melted one by one. I don't know if it was an illusion, but everyone seemed to see that the melted medicinal liquid seemed to have life, embracing and blending. Seeing more and more medicinal materials being melted successfully, Gu Shaozong's face became more and more ugly. At this moment, suddenly, dark clouds covered the sky. It looks like it's going to rain, and it's going to rain heavily. Seeing this, Gu Shaozong's face was overjoyed. The impact of the rainstorm will inevitably affect Yangtze Ocean's alchemy. Under the impact of the rainstorm, no pharmacist can succeed in refining the alchemy. Yangtze Ocean's alchemy will definitely fail this time. Chapter 207 Miracle. Shi Yanping, Longlan and others were all worried when they saw that it was going to rain heavily. Lion Kingsun was also very quiet and worried. Her pink little hands were clasped together tightly, showing her nervousness. As time went by, the black clouds in the sky became heavier and heavier. Suddenly, heavy rain suddenly fell, and it was extremely violent. The whole world was instantly grey. Many people could only see 10 meters. Gu Shaozong saw that it was indeed a heavy rain, and smiled. Shi Yanping frowned. With such a heavy rain, Yang Xiaoyao is afraid of losing. Longlan shook his head. Under the impact of the heavy rain, the medicinal materials were like a small boat in the huge waves, and they were about to be washed away. Suddenly, Yangtze Ocean's medicine cauldron was shining, and an invisible energy shield was propped up, and all the heavy rain was blocked in the sky. Gu Shaozong was shocked. Shi Yanping, Longlan and others also looked at the medicine cauldron in surprise. Can the chief hall master see the level of this medicine cauldron? Longlan stared at the medicine cauldron intently and asked. Shi Yanping also looked at the medicine cauldron in doubt and said uncertainly, should it be a holy weapon? Holy weapon? Hearing Shi Yanping's words, everyone on the rostrum was surprised. You know, holy cauldron furnaces are extremely rare. Even the top 10 super sects in the empire don't have many holy cauldron furnaces. But at this moment, suddenly, the light of the medicine cauldron surged again, and the rainstorm in the entire Imperial Square was blasted back to the sky. Shi Yanping, Longlan and others were stunned. This seems to be more than just a holy weapon. With the support of the power of the medicine cauldron, Yang Zai Ocean's alchemy was not affected by the rainstorm, and soon all the medicinal materials were refined. However, the last step is the most difficult. The medicinal materials refined by the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire and the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame need to be fused together. Yang Zai Ocean's face was calm, and he controlled the various refined medicinal materials to fall into the medicine cauldron one by one. From a distance, these refined medicinal materials were like crystal clear pearls, constantly falling from the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire and the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame. And the time interval between each kind of medicinal material falling is exactly the same. Looking at this scene, Shi Yanping sighed. What a pity, I'm not married yet. Everyone on the rostrum was puzzled. Yang Zai Ocean's alchemy doesn't seem to have anything to do with whether you get married or not. It would be nice if I had a daughter, Shi Yanping said again. At this point, he glanced at King Suan intentionally or unintentionally. Longlan guessed what Shi Yanping was thinking, and his forehead was black. Finally, more than 100 kinds of medicinal materials dripped into the medicine cauldron. Under the simultaneous wrapping of the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire and the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame, the medicine cauldron soon filled with the fragrance of the elixir, and faintly, there were green lights shining from the medicine cauldron. This is undoubtedly a sign of the elixir. Seeing this, Gu Shaozang, who had always been holding on to his fantasy, looked at Hen. Yang Zai Ocean actually succeeded in refining it. He controlled 2 techniques at the same time, and refined the Taking UI pill. And he refined the Taking UI pill in the Martial King realm. It broke the eternal legend. Miracle. Many family pharmacists at the scene saw this, and murmured to themselves. At the Martial King level, he was able to refine a Zuan level elixir. If this wasn't a miracle, then what was it? Everyone couldn't hide their shock. It was as shocking as seeing Yang Zai Ocean possess the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire. Just as everyone was shocked and quiet, suddenly, in the crowd, Guzi, the prince of the ancient sword kingdom, excitedly shouted again, Yang Shen. Fortunately, he didn't shout I love you like he did just now, otherwise, many people would have really sprayed out the Kinglian wine from last night. King Zuan, who had been nervous all the time, was also excited, and shouted happily, Brother Zai Ocean, you are so great. Still very coquettish. This time, Longlan smiled. Shi Yanping was also smiling. Wu Qi, Luo King, Yang Chao, Huang Ying and many pharmacists cheered. The whole square was immersed in joy. Wang Zhao's face was gloomy, and he said in a deep voice, don't be too happy too soon. Even if Yang Zai Ocean really refined a Zuan level elixir, he may not win the championship. Yang Zai Ocean can refine a Zuan level elixir, and Gu Shaozang, Long Xingkang, Lan Yi and others can do the same. Therefore, the final comparison still depends on the quality of the elixir. This time, Chen Nian personally stepped forward to identify Yang Zai Ocean's Taking UI pill. At this time, the rainstorm had stopped, and the rainbow was hanging high. The Taking UI pill was blooming in the jade basin with green light, illuminating the surroundings. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that the quality of this Taking UI pill was definitely not low. After some identification, Chen Nian took a deep breath and said excitedly, it is a top grade pill. Top grade pill. Hearing the result of Chen Nian's identification, there was an uproar. You know, Taking UI pill is the most difficult to refine among the Zuan level pills. Even for the Emperor Realm Strongman, it is difficult to refine the top grade Taking UI pill. Not to mention the superior and top grade ones. But Yang Zai Ocean, who is only in the Martial King realm, did it. Wang Zhao, Gu Shaozang, Long Xingkang, Lan Yi, Li Qian and others were all shocked when they heard that it was a top grade pill, as if they were falling into the abyss. Gu Shaozang looked at Yang Zai Ocean, his face still grim. Yang Zai Ocean, don't be complacent. Your Taking UI pill is just a top grade one. I will refine a top grade Taking UI pill now. At this point, he took out a cauldron. This cauldron was all golden, and on the cauldron, there was a huge ancient beast. Heavenly beast cauldron. A pharmacist exclaimed. The Heavenly Beast Cauldron is the strongest cauldron in the ancient god palace, and it is a peak of the holy weapon. Everyone didn't expect that the ancient god palace would bring the Heavenly Beast Cauldron to Gusheozan for this pharmacist competition. A good cauldron can improve the quality of a lot of pills. Seeing Gusheozan take out the Heavenly Beast Cauldron, Long Xingkang, Lang Yi, Li Qianqian, Zhu Maomio and others also took out their own cauldrons and began to refine the taking UI pill. Gusheozan waved his hands repeatedly, and he still used the sun and moon together technique. There was no other way. The sun and moon together technique was the most advanced medicine refining technique he could control. At first, when everyone saw Gusheozan's sun and moon radiance, they were amazed. But after seeing Yang Xiaoshan's medicine array just now, they felt that Gusheozan's sun and moon radiance was boring. Gusheozan also noticed the strange looks of the crowd and waved his hands frequently. Wang Zhao saw it and frowned. There was no doubt that Gusheozan had lost his Minset. Once his Minset was lost, the result was obvious. Sure enough, it didn't take long for Gusheozan to make the elixir. After Chen Nian's appraisal, it was only the top of the best. Seeing that the elixir he made was only the top of the best, Gusheozan's face turned red like purple. Just now, he boasted that he would make the top of the best, but now, he can't even make the top, just the top of the best. To put it bluntly, it's actually the best. Many people saw that Gusheozan even used the Heavenly Beast Cauldron, but he only made the top of the best elixir, and they all shook their heads. You have the nerve to say that you have inherited the inheritance of the god of medicine, but you can't even make the best elixir. Someone shook his head. The sound was not loud, but when it reached Gusheozan's ears, it was like thunder in the sky. In anger, he looked at the other party. Chapter 208 The second medicine god of my empire. The one who spoke was an old man in grey. A disciple of the ancient god palace said angrily, my senior brother Gu is unparalleled in medicine. How can you, an ant, comment on it? When he said this, he grabbed the grey-clothed old man's shoulder with one claw. But before he touched the grey-clothed old man's shoulder, he was shaken away by the grey-clothed old man. Everyone was shocked. The disciple of the ancient god palace was a supreme emperor realm, but he was shaken away without any signs. And no one saw how the grey-clothed old man made his move, including Shi Yanping and Long Lan. After the grey-clothed old man shook the ancient god palace disciple away, he praised Yang Xiaoshan. Little guy, your name is Yang Xiaoshan, right? You are very good. My name is Fu Xiangming. We will see each other later. When he said this, he turned around and left, and suddenly disappeared in front of everyone. Everyone watched the grey-clothed old man suddenly disappear, and their eyes widened. Fu Xiangming? At first, the Funan sword sex ancestor Jiu Wu was puzzled, but suddenly he remembered an ancient existence, and his face changed drastically. It's him. Shi Yanping, Long Lan, Wang Zhao and others also remembered who Fu Xiangming was, and they were all shocked. This old monster is not dead yet. Zhao Jinzhao, the ancestor of the Tatian sect, said in shock. Many family masters at the scene had never heard of this Fu Xiangming, but seeing the expressions of Jiu Wu, Shi Yanping, Zhao Jinzhao and others, they were all surprised. This grey-clothed old man Fu Xiangming seemed to be an extraordinary figure. Ancestor, who is this Fu Xiangming? A core disciple of the Tatian sect couldn't help but ask Zhao Jinzhao. Zhao Jinzhao shook his head and kept silent. It seemed that this Fu Xiangming was a taboo, and he didn't want to talk about it. Yang Xiaoshan was also puzzled, but it was not appropriate to ask Shan King Li Mang now. After the game was over, he would ask Shan King Li Mang after returning. See if Liao Meng knew this Fu Xiangming. Finally, the third round of the competition ended. Long Xingkang, Lang Yi, Li Qianqian and others failed to refine the top grade taking UI pill. Yang Xiaoshan won the championship of the Imperial Pharmacist competition without any controversy. Shi Yanping personally distributed the champion rewards to Yang Xiaoshan, including spiritual stones, pearls, a set of top-level mysterious tools, and the flame of the earth. Wang Zhao watched Yang Xiaoshan take the flame of the earth away, his face as gloomy as water. This flame of the earth was something he had been thinking about for many years. Unfortunately, he had never been able to subdue it. In the end, it was given to Yang Xiaoshan. Friend Yang, are you interested in joining our Imperial Pharmacist Hall? After Yang Xiaoshan accepted the reward, Shi Yangping asked with a smile on his face. Fearing that Yang Xiaoshan would not join, Shi Yangping smiled and said, joining the Imperial Pharmacist Hall will bring you many conveniences, such as purchasing medicinal materials and comprehending the secrets of the Pharmacist Hall's alchemy. Before Yang Xiaoshan could speak, Wang Zhao said, Yang Xiaoshan killed Fang Heng and Zheng Biao, the special deacons of the Imperial Pharmacist Hall. He is a wanted criminal of the Imperial Pharmacist Hall. How can a wanted criminal join the Imperial Pharmacist Hall? I disagree, Wang Zhao said decisively, with murderous intent in his eyes. Shi Yangping looked at Wang Zhao, his eyes cold. Yang Xiaoshan is a wanted criminal? How come I don't know about this? Wang Zhao, you are a great elder. When did you have the power to arbitrarily decide who is a wanted criminal? Wang Zhao hesitated. Anyway, I disagree, Shi Yangping said bluntly. Your disagreement is invalid. There was anger in Wang Zhao's eyes, but he felt helpless. Even though he was the great elder of the Imperial Pharmacist Hall, and was regarded as the successor to the next chief hall master, he was not yet. How about it, Mr. Yang? Shi Yangping turned around, smiled, and asked Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshan nodded. I'm willing to join the Imperial Pharmacist Hall. Wang Zhao didn't want him to join, but he joined anyway. He was so angry. Shi Yangping was very excited to see Yang Xiaoshan nod, and laughed heartily. Okay, Mr. Yang joining my Imperial Pharmacist Hall is a blessing for my Imperial Pharmacist Hall. In the future, if Mr. Yang has any request, you can come to me. Long Lan on the side also smiled and said, congratulations to the head of the hall. Congratulations to Mr. Yang. King Zuan even stepped forward, with a bright face and watery eyes, smiling. Congratulations, Brother Xiaoshan. Then he smiled and said, you have to treat me to barbecue tonight. Barbecue? Yang Xiaoshan was stunned and smiled. Okay. Afterwards, Chen Nan gave rewards to the top 10 of this pharmacist competition one by one. As for Gu Xiaozhang, he couldn't even make it into the top 10, and ranked in the top 10. Seeing Yang Xiaoshan, Long Xingkang, Lang Yi and others come forward to receive their awards, Gu Xiaozhang clenched his fists, as if he wanted to strangle the cow to death. The Imperial Pharmacist competition finally came to an end. In the main hall of the True Dragon sect, Hunan kept pacing back and forth, looking anxiously outside the hall from time to time. Sect Master. At this moment, Jianglin, an elder of the True Dragon sect, ran in excitedly. We found out who controls the divine fire. It's Yang Xiaoshan. He is Yang Linga's brother. Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Linga's brother. Hunan's eyes widened, and then he was extremely excited. Is it Linga's brother? Are you sure? Yes. Jianglin laughed excitedly. Today, in the Imperial Pharmacist competition, Yang Xiaoshan summoned the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire in public, and refined a mysterious level elixir at the Martial King realm. Chief Hall Master Shi Yangping said that this boy will become the second medicine god of our empire in 100 years. Hunan opened his mouth wide. The Martial King realm refined a mysterious level elixir? The second medicine god of our empire? Yes, he controlled the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire and the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame at the same time, and used the medicine array and violent storms to refine the elixir, and refine the top grade taking UI pill, winning the first place in this pharmacist competition. Jianglin said like a machine gun, his lips trembling with excitement. Controlling the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire and the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame at the same time. Using the medicine array at the same time, violent storms. This is a lot of information. Hunan was so shocked that his mind was confused for a while. What about Gu Xiaozhang? Hunan thought of Gu Xiaozhang and asked. Before this Imperial Pharmacist competition, everyone believed that Gu Xiaozhang would win first place. When Jianglin heard this, his face was strange and he said, Gu Xiaozhang only refined the top quality taking UI pill, which can't even enter the top 10, and ranks 11th. Ranked 11th. Hunan was stunned. Wasn't he first? He actually ranked 11th. Just add a 10 in front. Sect Master, should we report to the ancestors? Jianglin saw Hunan in a daze and reminded him. The oldest and most powerful ancestor of their True Dragon sect has been waiting for news. Hunan suddenly woke up. Yes, I will report to the ancestors now. After saying that, he rushed out of the hall at the speed of a super rocket, blowing a super strong wind. However, when he rushed out of the hall, he hit the main door of the hall, which made the main door of the hall bang. Jiang Lin looked at the main door, that was blown crooked, and was stunned for a long time. Then, there was another loud bang. Jiang Lin was so scared that he came out of the hall, only to see Hunan rushing over, leaving a big gap in the mountain in front. Chapter 209. What a pity. Level 11 Martial Spirit. Not only Jiang Lin was shocked, but also millions of disciples of the True Dragon Divine Sect. Hearing the loud bang, almost all the disciples of the True Dragon Divine Sect rushed out. However, when they saw the big gap in the mountain, a row of question marks appeared in their heads. The sect master is not drunk today, right? Said a core disciple. The sect master never drinks. Could it be that the sect master's wife is pregnant? A male disciple guessed. You are pregnant. Another female disciple glared. The sect master practiced the True Dragon Divine Art and went wrong. You went wrong. Your whole body is on fire. Amid the guesses of the disciples, Hunan rushed all the way to the cave of the oldest and most powerful ancestor of their True Dragon Divine Sect. At this time, Hunan's mind was still a mess. He took a deep breath, trying to calm himself down, then stood in front of the cave and bowed deeply. Disciple Hunan has found out about the divine fire, and I'm here to report to the ancestor. Oh, who controls the power of the divine fire? An excited voice rang out in the cave, and then the space twisted, and a silver-haired old man appeared in front of Hunan. This silver-haired old man was none other than Li Zhenqing, the oldest and most powerful ancestor of the True Dragon Divine Sect. Hunan saw Li Zhenqing appear in person, and quickly bowed again, saying, "It's a child named Yang Xiaoshan. He is the brother of my newly accepted disciple Yang Linga." What? Yang Linga's brother? Li Zhenqing was surprised. Hunan had accepted a disciple Yang Linga some time ago, and he knew it. After all, Yang Linga was a 14th level martial spirit. Yes, he has mastered the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire. Hunan also said excitedly, he participated in the Imperial Pharmacist competition today, and summoned the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire. Moreover, he refined a mysterious level elixir with the Martial King realm, and he won the first place in this Imperial Pharmacist competition. The head of the Imperial Pharmacist Hall said that this boy will be the second medicine god of our empire in 100 years. Hunan excitedly reported the news he had just received from Jiang Lin. Li Zhenqing's eyes were only the size of peanuts, but they became bigger and bigger as he listened, and finally became as big as a dragon. He refined a mysterious level elixir with the Martial King realm, the second medicine god of our empire in the future. Hunan said, yes, and he also mastered the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame, the 9th of the Strange Fires. Moreover, he used the 210 Great Medicine refining techniques of Medicine Array and Violent Storm to refine the elixir at the same time. And he refined the top grade taking UI pill in less than half an hour. And what? Excited Hunan said many ands in a row. When he said the fourth and, he was stuck for a while. Li Zhenqing's eyes, originally the size of peanuts, became as big as dragons, and now they widened again. Using 2 of the 10 great alchemy techniques to refine pills at the same time. In less than half an hour, he refined the top grade taking UI pill. He even controlled the 9th Strange Fire, the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame. And what? Li Zhenqing heard Hunan suddenly stop and asked anxiously. Hunan, who was stuck, took a deep breath and said, and, he is not even 10 years old. Not even 10 years old. Li Zhenqing always felt that something was stuck in his throat. What about his martial arts talent? After a long time, he couldn't help asking. Hunan said excitedly, he condensed 5 9-color sword hearts and activated the second area of the Imperial Capital Sword Roulette a few days ago. This matter has been known by many super sects. After all, no one has been able to activate the second area of the Sword Roulette so far, except for Yang Xiaoshan a few days ago. 5 9-color sword hearts. Li Zhenqing's thin body shook again. Moreover, he has cultivated the 4 supreme magical powers of the Myriad Aspects Sword Technique, the Heaven Shaking Sword Technique, the Heaven Burying Sword Technique, and the Sky Thousand Swords to the Pinnacle. Hunan said, this boy will definitely be able to condense a top grade golden elixir in the future. Many disciples of the true dragon divine sect can condense a top grade golden elixir, but very few can condense a top grade golden elixir. But, Hunan hesitated for a moment when he said this. The only pity is that his martial soul is an 11th level martial soul. Li Zhenqing was stunned. 11th level martial soul? Originally, he thought Yang Xiaoshan had at least a 12th level martial soul. Hunan nodded. Yes, but he has twin 11th level martial souls. One is the 11th level superior Black Sea Divine Turtle martial soul, and the other is the 11th level top level Hell Snake. Li Zhenqing sighed and felt it was a pity. Although twin 11th level martial souls are not bad, they are a bit ordinary for the top 10 super sects in the empire such as the True Dragon Divine Sect. Although it was a pity, Li Zhenqing still said, try all means to accept Yang Xiaoshan as a disciple of the True Dragon Sect and train him well. Yes, Hunan said respectfully. Li Zhenqing returned to the cave and continued to practice in seclusion. His True Dragon Divine Art has been cultivated to the peak of the 18th level, and he plans to challenge the 19th level. Once he reaches the 19th level, his strength will be taken to the next level. Hunan looked at Li Zhenqing, who returned to the cave and thought of Yang Xiaoshan's martial soul and sighed secretly. He could see that Li Zhenqing originally wanted to accept Yang Xiaoshan as a disciple, but after hearing that Yang Xiaoshan's martial soul was only level 11, he finally gave up the idea. What a pity. Hunan shook his head. Whether Yang Xiaoshan's talent for refining medicine or martial arts is unparalleled, but his martial soul is just not satisfactory. Night fell. In the courtyard of the Qinglang mansion, a bonfire was lit, and the roasted meat smelled terrible. The wine was brewed by Yang Xiaoshan. Everyone sat around the bonfire, laughing and talking happily. Longlan and King Zuan also came to participate in the bonfire party of Qinglang mansion. King Zuan sat beside Yang Xiaoshan, her delicate, white, and soft little pink hands supporting her cheeks, looking at Yang Xiaoshan from time to time, her beautiful eyes full of joy. Since the last time they parted in the Red Moon Forest, she has been thinking about Brother Xiaoshan for the past few months. Brother Xiaoshan, you have been in the imperial capital for so many days, and you don't come to play with me. King Zuan pouted and said angrily. However, even if she was angry, she was still very cute. Yang Xiaoshan smiled and said, I was planning to go to the Imperial Palace to find you after the pharmacist competition. King Zuan then turned to Joy and smiled sweetly. I knew that Brother Xiaoshan didn't forget me. Yang Chao and Huang Ying sat there, looking at King Zuan sitting next to Yang Xiaoshan, and they felt that the little girl looked more and more beautiful. The two did not expect that their son would know the princess of their empire. That was their Shenlong Empire, not the Shenhe Kingdom or the Xiandao Empire. Everyone chatted and couldn't help but talk about tomorrow's auction of the Snowfall Chamber of Commerce and the 6th Heaven Tribulation Thunderwater. When Longlan learned that Yang Xiaoshan was also going to bid for the 6th Heaven Tribulation Thunderwater, he was stunned. It seemed that he didn't expect Yang Xiaoshan to be so rich. He pondered and said, it will be difficult for Yang Xiaoshan to bid for the 6th Heaven Tribulation Thunderwater. He said, as far as I know, this time, the Tatian sect and the Qinglian restaurant are determined to get the 6th Heaven Tribulation Thunderwater. With these two huge monsters bidding, the price of the 6th Heaven Tribulation Thunderwater will definitely soar to a terrifying level. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 210 The Storm is Coming. Yang Xiaoshan was not surprised to hear Longlan say that the Tatian sect and the Qinglian restaurant were determined to get the 6th Heaven Tribulation Thunderwater. It was normal for the Tatian sect and the Qinglian restaurant to be determined to get such a rare treasure as the 6th Heaven Tribulation Thunderwater. Uncle Lan, how many top grade spirit stones do you think it would take to bid for the 6th Heaven Tribulation Thunderwater? Yang Xiaoshan asked. Longlan pondered and said, the starting price is 10,000 top grade spirit stones, but to successfully bid for it, it would take about 100,000 top grade spirit stones. 100,000 top grade spirit stones. Lu King, Liu Kun and others shuddered when they heard it. Xiaojin raised his paw and counted carefully with his fingers. 10,000 top grade spirit stones is 1 trillion gold coins. 100,000 top grade spirit stones is 10 trillion gold coins. 1 lollipop is 1 silver coin. How many lollipops would that take? Yang Xiaoshan was speechless when he heard Xiaojin carefully counting there. This little guy now thinks of lollipops first when he mentions money. 100,000 high grade spirit stones. Yang Xiaoshan had estimated it before, and it was probably about this number. The blood dragon spirit vein he had obtained in the Red Moon Forest before could cut more than 1 million high grade spirit stones, so he was not worried about the money. Seeing Yang Xiaoshan's silence, Longlan thought that he didn't have enough money, so he said, if you don't have enough money, our Shenlong Empire can give it to you first. Like Shi Yangping, he believed that Yang Xiaoshan would be the second medicine god of the empire 100 years later. Now is a good opportunity to win over Yang Xiaoshan. Thank you, Uncle Lan. If I need anything, I'll ask you. Yang Xiaoshan smiled. Longlan nodded and smiled. He looked at Yang Xiaoshan under the bonfire and was very emotional. When he first met Yang Xiaoshan in the Red Moon Forest a few months ago, Yang Xiaoshan didn't catch his eye. Who would have thought that a few months later, their Shenlong Empire would even need to win over Yang Xiaoshan? Just as Yang Xiaoshan and others were grilling and drinking, Wang Zhao was sitting in his mansion drinking alone. Thinking of the scene in which Yang Xiaoshan summoned the divine fire and used the medicine array and violent storm to make the elixir today, Wang Zhao's eyes were filled with murderous intent. Master. Seeing that Wang Zhao was in a bad mood, his disciple Wu Yu said carefully, I just got the news that Longlan took the prince to Qinglang Mansion. It seems that the Shenlong Empire wants to win over Yang Xiaoshan. Wang Zhao snorted coldly when he heard it. So what if he subdues the divine fire? Does he really think that Yang Xiaoshan can really become the medicine god in the future? It's a joke. There are many people who want to win over Yang Xiaoshan, but there are even more people who want to kill Yang Xiaoshan now. For example, the Fearing Sword sect. Yang Xiaoshan must be killed. It's not certain whether Yang Xiaoshan can survive this year. Wang Zhao sneered. Master, should we take action? Wu Yu asked. No, we just wait and see. Wang Zhao said, I dare say that once Yang Xiaoshan leaves the imperial capital, he will die. He looked at the quiet night of the imperial capital and said, the storm is coming. The night gradually deepened. Seeing that it was late, Longlan took King Xuan back to the imperial palace. Originally, King Xuan wanted to live in Qinglang Mansion, but was dragged back to the imperial palace by Longlan. The bonfire went out. Everyone dispersed. Yang Xiaoshan returned to his own courtyard, but did not practice. Instead, he summoned the Azure Thunder Python and asked about Fu Xiangming today. Old man Fu, I know. Azure Thunder Python said, Sir, do you know the Holy List? Holy List? Yang Xiaoshan was puzzled and shook his head. Azure Thunder Python said, in our Shenlong Empire, there is an Emperor List and a Holy List. The Emperor List has collected 1000 strong men in the Emperor Realm, and the Holy List has collected 100 strong men in the Holy Realm. Those who can enter the Emperor List are the strongest in the Emperor Realm, and those who can enter the Holy List are the strongest in the Holy Realm. This old man Fu is one of the top 10 strong men on the Holy List. To be precise, he is the top 10 of the Holy List in the last session. Emperor List, Holy List. Yang Xiaoshan's mind moved. The top 10 of the last Holy List. Xian King Thunder Python nodded and said, under normal circumstances, the Emperor List is changed every 30 years, and the Holy List is changed every 100 years. Both the Emperor List and the Holy List are released by Xianchen Pavilion. Xianchen Pavilion, like the Tatian sect, the Ancient Palace, and the True Dragon sect, is one of the 10 super sects of the Dragon Empire. Fu Xiangqian can enter the top 10 of the Holy List, so his strength is at the peak of the Holy Realm. Yang Xiaoshan asked. Yes, more than 100 years ago, he had already stepped into the peak of the Holy Realm, but there are also strong and weak at the peak of the Holy Realm. Xian King Thunder Python said this and said hatefully, for example, Old Man ZH Yujing is the strongest at the peak of the Holy Realm. What about the Divine List? Yang Xiaoshan asked. Xian King Thunder Python shook his head. There are too few people in the Divine Realm, and you can count them on both hands. There is no divine list. Yang Xiaoshan did not ask about the holy list again. After all, the holy list is still too far away from him now. The most important thing for him now is to practice the supreme magical power and condense the strongest golden elixir. The next day, the sun is shining. Knowing that Yang Xiaoshan would also attend the auction of the Snowfall Chamber of Commerce, King Xuan came to find Yang Xiaoshan early. Longlan saw that King Xuan wanted to stick to Yang Xiaoshan all the time and shook his head, thinking that a girl should not be kept at home. However, this niece, since her mother's accident, has always disliked getting close to others, but now she is so attached to Yang Xiaoshan, which surprised Longlan. Longlan, King Xuan, Yang Xiaoshan and others came to the Snowfall Chamber of Commerce. Wu King, the president of the Chamber of Commerce branch, came out from afar to greet them and was very enthusiastic. He welcomed Yang Xiaoshan and his party into the Chamber of Commerce. Soon, Wang Zhao, Long Xingkang, Zhu Zuan, Gu Xiaozhang, Li Qian and others also arrived one after another. Wang Zhao, Long Xingkang and others saw Yang Xiaoshan. Naturally they were not in a good mood. Especially Gu Xiaozhang. That look was like a 1,000-foot cold cellar. Liang Yafei, the ancestor of the true dragon god sect, also came with his disciple Zhu Maomiro. When Liang Yafei saw Yang Xiaoshan, he took the initiative to nod and greeted him with a smile, which was very friendly. It was his disciple Zhu Maomiro who had a sour face, as if Yang Xiaoshan owed her tens of billions. With the arrival of the strong men from all sides, the auction started soon. The sixfold heavenly tribulation Thunderwater and the real Dragon Ball were the final treasures, and they were put at the end of the auction. At the beginning, some elixirs and supreme magical secrets were auctioned. Yang Xiaoshan had no interest in elixirs and supreme magical secrets. He had no shortage of these three things. Now he had practiced more than 100 supreme magical secrets, which was enough. After all, you can't chew more than you can chew. After auctioning more than 20 things, finally, the final treasure, the real Dragon Ball, began to be auctioned. Wu King personally presided over the auction and took out the real Dragon Ball. Suddenly, the whole auction was bright. This real Dragon Ball was as big as two fists, shining brightly, and the dragon essence inside the Dragon Ball was surging like the sea. Seeing the real Dragon Ball, many people's eyes were burning. This real Dragon Ball is the Dragon Ball of a powerful golden dragon in the spirit realm in ancient times. Wu King introduced to everyone with a smile. When everyone heard this, there was a commotion. It turned out to be the Dragon Ball of the powerful golden dragon in the divine realm. Whether it was Wang Zhao or Jiu Wu and others, they were all excited after hearing the introduction. They looked down on ordinary Dragon Balls, but the Dragon Balls in the divine realm were different, not to mention the Dragon Balls of the Golden Dragon, the king of the Dragon Clan. Chapter 211 The Last Treasure. And we speculate that this Golden Dragon warrior has definitely not just broken through the divine realm. Wu King saw that everyone was very excited and said with a smile, it should be the 7th level of the divine realm or even stronger. The 7th level of the divine realm, or even stronger. The group of strong men were even more shocked. Even the sky blue thunder python in the medicine cauldron was excited. The stronger the strength of the golden dragon warrior, the thicker his Dragon Ball and dragon essence, and the higher the probability of his and the Black Dragon King's bloodline returning to their ancestors. Brother Xiaoshan, do you also want to bid for this real Dragon Ball? King Xuan noticed the change in Yang Xiaoshan's expression and spoke. Yang Xiaoshan nodded and said, I came to this auction for the Dragon Ball and the sixfold heavenly tribulation Thunderwater. Longlan was surprised and smiled. Young friend Yang wants this real Dragon Ball, then I will bid for it and give it to you. Thank you, Uncle Lan. Yang Xiaoshan shook his hand and smiled. No, I should have enough money on me. Longlan didn't force it after hearing this, but he was very curious about how Yang Xiaoshan had so much money. After Wu King introduced the true Dragon Ball in detail, he said, the starting price of this true Dragon Ball is 1 million low-grade spirit stones, and each bid will be no less than 10,000 low-grade spirit stones. 1 million low-grade spirit stones. Although it is not as good as the 6th heavenly tribulation Thunderwater, it is also an astonishing number. Many masters who were originally eager to make a move softened when they heard it. They couldn't stand up straight. 1,100,000. After Wu King finished speaking, Wang Zhao couldn't wait to shout. 1,200,000. Jiu Wu followed closely. 2 million. Zhao Jinzhao, the ancestor of the Shan sect, said domineeringly. Wang Zhao, Jiu Wu and others didn't expect Zhao Jinzhao to raise the price to 2 million at once, and they couldn't help but stop. 2.5 million. Suddenly, Liang Yafei, the ancestor of the true dragon god sect, spoke. 3 million. Yang Xiaoshan, who had been silent, shouted next. Everyone was stunned. Seeing Yang Xiaoshan and Long Lan together, everyone thought that Yang Xiaoshan was just accompanying Long Lan to broaden his horizons. No one expected Yang Xiaoshan to participate in the bidding. Then everyone thought of Yang Xiaoshan's black dragon, and they were relieved. Yang Xiaoshan bought the Dragon Ball, presumably for the black dragon. Zhu Miao behind Liang Yafei saw Yang Xiaoshan following him, and said to Liang Yafei, Master, Yang Xiaoshan is bidding behind you, obviously to embarrass you. Liang Yafei shook his head and said, it's just a coincidence. 4 million. Wang Zhao looked at Yang Xiaoshan coldly and shouted. Yang Xiaoshan's face was normal. 5 million. 6 million. Wang Zhao's face sank and shouted. 7 million. Yang Xiaoshan said calmly. Wang Zhao was already angry. 8 million. 10 million. Yang Xiaoshan didn't change his face. 10 million. The whole hall fell silent. Wang Zhao, who had not continued to fight with Yang Xiaoshan, stopped and looked a little unhappy. Although this real Dragon Ball is a treasure, it has few uses. It can only be used to make pills, or for the beast to practice. If it exceeds 10 million, it is not worth it. Master, although this true Dragon Ball was left by an ancient golden dragon warrior, the dragon essence inside has long been lost over countless years, and it is no different from an empty shell. Yang Xiaoshan spent 10 million to buy it, which is extremely stupid. We don't have to fight with such a fool. Wang Zhao's disciple Wu Yu said. Wu Yu's voice was loud, and everyone at the scene could hear it clearly. Wang Zhao smiled when he heard it. You are right, we don't have to fight with such a fool. He glanced at Yang Xiaoshan and said with a smile, Yang Xiaoshan, do you think that with this true Dragon Ball, your black dragon can evolve into a divine beast? It's a big joke. If divine beasts can evolve so easily, then the world will be full of divine beasts. King Zuan smiled and said, if Elder Wang doesn't have the money to bid, my brother Xiaoshan can lend it to you. Wang Zhao's face turned red like purple. He didn't have the money to bid. But it was King Zuan who spoke up. Even if he was furious, he could only hold it back. He couldn't hold it back to death. Wu King, the president of the Zuluo Chamber of Commerce branch, said with a smile, young friend Yang has offered 10 million lower grade spirit stones, and no one has offered a higher price yet. If not, this true Dragon Ball will belong to young friend Yang. In the end, no one offered, and the true Dragon Ball belonged to Yang Xiaoshan. 10 million lower grade spirit stones equals 1000 upper grade spirit stones. However, Yang Xiaoshan's blood dragon spirit vein contains blood dragon spiritual energy, and one of these upper grade spirit stones can be exchanged for 10 ordinary upper grade spirit stones. Therefore, Yang Xiaoshan only needs to give 100 blood dragon spirit stones. When Yang Xiaoshan took out 100 blood dragon spirit stones, the whole hall was filled with blood dragon spiritual energy, and there was a faint shadow of a blood dragon spirit stone. Everyone was shocked when they saw Yang Xiaoshan's blood dragon spirit stone. Even Long Lan was shocked. Seeing that Yang Xiaoshan was going to give these blood dragon spirit stones to the Snowfall Chamber of Commerce, he said anxiously, wait. Then he said anxiously, friend Yang, I will exchange 10 million low-grade spirit stones for these 100 blood dragon spirit stones. How about that? Yang Xiaoshan was stunned for a moment when he saw Long Lan was so anxious, and nodded, okay. Thank you. Long Lan was overjoyed to see Yang Xiaoshan agreed, and immediately took out 10 million low-grade spirit stones, and gave them to Yang Xiaoshan in exchange for Yang Xiaoshan's blood dragon spirit stones. Long Lan accepted the blood dragon spirit stones, and carefully put them away like treasures. Uncle Lan, how many high-grade spirit stones do you have? Yang Xiaoshan suddenly asked. Long Lan didn't react to Yang Xiaoshan's meaning for a while. Yang Xiaoshan took out a space ring, and when he opened it, he saw that the blood dragon spirit energy was like a tsunami, shaking the entire hall. Long Lan and everyone looked at Yang Xiaoshan's space ring in horror. Even Wu-King was shocked. There are at least 20,000 blood dragon spirit stones in Yang Xiaoshan's space ring. As the president of the Zulu Chamber of Commerce branch, this is the first time he has seen so many dragon-type high-grade spirit stones. Wang Zhao, Jiu Wu, Zhao Jinzhao and others all stared at Yang Xiaoshan's space ring with green eyes, like a hungry wolf. As for Long Xingkang, Gu Xiaozhang, Li Qianqian, Zhu Miao and others, let alone Uncle Lan, Yang Xiaoshan called to Long Lan. I have it, I have it. Long Lan shivered and took out all the high-grade spirit stones on his body and exchanged them for Yang Xiaoshan's 20,000 blood dragon spirit stones. Holding 20,000 blood dragon spirit stones, Long Lan's breathing was rapid and his hands could not be steady. After a long time, Wu-King came back to his senses and continued the auction. However, in the following auctions, he could not concentrate at all and called the wrong auction items several times. After auctioning off a few more items, Wu-King took a deep breath and said, next, I'll auction off the last treasure, the 6th Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water. Having said that, he took out an antique pot and opened the mouth of the pot. Suddenly, thunder energy rose, and thunder and lightning flashed over the sky above the hall. The power of thunder that could destroy the world swept over. Chapter 212 The Master of Kinglian Tower comes in person. Sixfold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water. Seeing Wu-King take out the sixfold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water, everyone stared at the pot of sixfold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water. This time, all the superpowers came for the sixfold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water. Ordinary Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water has the miraculous effect of cleansing the tendons and marrow and strengthening vitality, not to mention the sixfold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water. The sixfold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water is even said to have the magical effect of resurrecting the dead. It is rumored that as long as there is still half a breath below the gods, drinking a mouthful of sixfold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water will not die. Although it may be a bit exaggerated, it shows the magic of the sixfold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water. Although there are not many of the pots of sixfold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water auctioned, Yang Xiaoshan estimated that there are 20 or 30 mouthfuls. It is definitely enough for Master Ding to subdue the super beast Ice Flame Kirin. This time, it was Yang Xiaoshan's turn to stare at the pot of sixfold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water with green eyes. In his eyes, it was not sixfold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water, but a super beast Ice Flame Kirin. A Ice Flame Kirin at the peak of the 10th level of the Holy Realm, whose strength may even be stronger than the Azure Thunder Python at the Divine Realm. This is simply a super fighter. At that time, with the Thunder Python on the left and the Kirin on the right, it would be so handsome. Wu-King was also excited as he looked at the Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water in front of him. This pot of 6th Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water was commissioned by a supreme power to be auctioned by the Chamber of Commerce. This senior only wants top grade spirit stones. I believe that everyone knows the magical effect of the 6th Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water without me saying anything. The starting price of this item is 10,000 top grade spirit stones, and each increase in price is not less than 100 top grade spirit stones. Wu-King announced without much nonsense. But after Wu-King finished speaking, no one spoke. For a while, there was a strange silence in the hall. However, Zhao Jinzhao of the Heavenly Tribulation sect finally couldn't hold back, and was the first to speak. 50,000 top grade spirit stones. Hiss. Hearing Zhao Jinzhao instantly soaring the price to 50,000 top grade spirit stones, many strong men took a breath of cold air. Just now, they looked at the sixfold Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water with blazing fire in their eyes, but now, it has long gone. However, many people also know that Zhao Jinzhao did this because he didn't want too many people to participate in the auction and cut off many people's thoughts at once. 51,000 top grade spirit stones. Just when everyone was quiet, Li Qianqian from the Kinglian restaurant spoke. Seeing Li Qianqian speak, many people frowned. Although everyone knew the wealth of the Kinglian restaurant, in terms of wealth, I'm afraid that the Tatian sect and the Shenlong Emperor's family are not as rich as the Kinglian restaurant. If the Kinglian restaurant is determined to get the sixfold heavenly tribulation thunder water, then there will be nothing for everyone. As if thinking of what everyone was thinking, Lee Kian said, "Everyone, this heavenly tribulation thunder water, my Kinglian restaurant is determined to get it." Then he added, "This is what our ancestor personally wanted." Hearing Lee Kian mention the ancestor, everyone was shocked and terrified. Even Long Lan, who was breathing rapidly just now, stopped breathing. Everyone knew who the ancestor Lee Kian was referring to. The founder of Kinglian restaurant, Li Dong. Even if the Kinglian sword god was not involved, Li Dong was one of the strongest beings in the Shenlong Empire. What's more, behind Li Dong stood a Kinglian sword god. Wang Zhao, who was going to bid, was silent. Although he was the Grand Elder of the Imperial Pharmacist Hall, in front of Li Dong, he was just the Grand Elder of the Imperial Pharmacist Hall. After Lee Kian brought up early family ancestor, everyone was speechless and very satisfied. 60,000 top-grade spirit stones. Just when everyone was silent, suddenly, a calm voice sounded. Everyone was stunned and looked over. The one who spoke was Yang Xiaoshan. Lee Kian saw that it was Yang Xiaoshan, and her pretty face suddenly turned cold. Seeing this, Wu Yu smiled at Wang Zhao and said, "This Yang Xiaoshan actually dared to snatch the 6th heaven tribulation thunder water from senior Li Dong. He is simply asking for his life." Wang Zhao was also secretly gloating. For him, the more people Yang Xiaoshan offended, the better. This way, Yang Xiaoshan would die faster. 61,000. Seeing Yang Xiaoshan speak up, Zhao Jinzhao of the Tatian sect also spoke up after Yang Xiaoshan started. 70,000. Lee Kian spoke up. 80,000. Yang Xiaoshan shouted immediately. Lee Kian saw that Yang Xiaoshan was always behind her, and her pretty face became colder. 81,000. Zhao Jinzhao shouted again. 90,000. Lee Kian said coldly, and after shouting, she stared at Yang Xiaoshan with cold eyes. Yang Xiaoshan ignored the other party's cold eyes. 100,000. 100,000. Seeing that the price soared to 100,000 in a few breaths, everyone was terrified. That was 100,000 high-grade spirit stones, not 100,000 low-grade spirit stones. Many super sects might not be able to get it together, even if they sold their gatekeeper beasts. Seeing that Yang Xiaoshan was holding on to her, Lee Kian shouted directly before Zhao Jinzhao spoke, 100,000. Her voice was already filled with anger towards Yang Xiaoshan. Chen Nian, the second elder of the Imperial Pharmacist Hall, was also there. He hesitated for a moment and said to Yang Xiaoshan, "Friend Yang, it's not worth it to spend hundreds of thousands of high-grade spirit stones to buy the 6-layer heaven tribulation thunder water. The most important thing is that it's not worth offending Li Dong for this 6-layer heaven tribulation thunder water." Yang Xiaoshan knew that Chen Nian also meant well, and smiled and said, "Thank you, second elder." After a pause, he said, "But I'm determined to get this 6-layer heaven tribulation thunder water." Then he shouted, 120,000. Lee Kian was so angry that her face turned blue. 121,000. Zhao Jinzhao hesitated for a moment and shouted. Although the Tatian sect was also determined to get the 6-layer heaven tribulation thunder water before coming, the price set by their sect leader was a maximum of 120,000 high-grade spirit stones. Therefore, 121,000 was already beyond the limit of the Tatian sect. 130,000. Yang Xiaoshan's face was calm. Lee Kian glared at Yang Xiaoshan with anger. 114,000. 150,000. Yang Xiaoshan shouted immediately. Lee Kian felt like exploding. 160,000. She gritted her teeth and said, 170,000. Yang Xiaoshan did not hesitate. Lee Kian's face was ugly. The highest price set by the leader of the Tatian sect was 120,000, and the highest price set by the Kinglian restaurant was 170,000. Everyone held their breath and stared at each other. No one expected that the sixfold heavenly tribulation thunder water would be called up to 170,000. Just when everyone thought Lee Kian was going to give up, suddenly, a figure appeared at the door of the auction hall. This figure was very tall, standing there, with a majestic power covering the sky. When they saw this figure clearly, many ancestors changed their faces. Master Li. Many ancestors who were originally present quickly stood up, clasped their fists and bowed. Even Long Lan, Zhao Jinzhao, and Wang Zhao were no exception. Li Hang, the son of Li Dang. He is also the current owner and helmsman of the Kinglian restaurant. Li Dang has not been born for many years. Now, everything in the Kinglian restaurant is managed by Li Hang. Even the emperor of the Shenlong Empire, the leader of the Tatian sect, had to be polite to Li Hang. No one expected that Li Hang would come to the auction in person. Li Hang obviously came for the 6th Heaven Tribulation Thunderwater. Chapter 213. You dare to reject. Grandpa. Li Qian was overjoyed to see that it was Li Hang who came in person. She stood up to greet him and then took Li Hang's arm. Li Hang doted on Li Qian and said with a smile, "Girl, you are so old, but you are still like a child." As he spoke, he walked into the hall. The strong men along the way all bowed their heads. Li Hang walked to the center of the hall and stood still. He looked at Long Lan and said with a smile, "Little Lan, I haven't seen you for a few years. It seems that your strength has improved a lot." Long Lan clasped his fists, bowed, and said with a smile, "Senior Li Hang, you are too kind." Long Lan's strength is not up to paragraph. Li Hang's eyes fell on Yang Xiaoshan. This must be Yang Xiaoshan, young friend Yang. Young friend Yang controls the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire and refines the mysterious level elixir in the Martial King realm. It is really a miracle. You are worthy of being the young medicine god. Young medicine god. Hearing Li Hang's evaluation of Yang Xiaoshan, Gu Shaozong's face was as ugly as it could be. Yang Xiaoshan said, "I don't dare to be the young medicine god, but I just got some opportunities." Li Hang smiled with admiration. "Friend Yang, this 6-fold heavenly tribulation thunderwater is what my father needs. How about selling it to me as a favor?" Everyone was stunned. Who is Li Hang? The current owner of the Kinglian restaurant, who is on par with the leader of the Tatian sect and the current emperor of the Shenlong Empire. He actually asked Yang Xiaoshan in person. Just when everyone thought that Yang Xiaoshan would nod, Yang Xiaoshan shook his head and said, "This 6-fold heavenly tribulation thunderwater is also something I must get." Everyone was stunned, looking at Yang Xiaoshan with a strange face. Yang Xiaoshan just rejected Li Hang. "You dare to refuse." Li Qian was furious when she saw that her grandfather had spoken and Yang Xiaoshan dared to refuse. Jiu Wu, Wang Zhao, Long Xingkang, Gu Shaozong and others saw that Yang Xiaoshan actually rejected Li Hang and didn't give Li Hang any face. After the accident, they were secretly overjoyed. Li Hang was also surprised. He didn't expect that. Even though he came in person and asked for it himself, Yang Xiaoshan still didn't give him face. He frowned. Where did Yang Xiaoshan get the confidence? Did he think that he had the right to ignore him because he controlled the divine fire? Or did he think that Long Lan supported him, so he had the confidence to directly reject him? He glanced at Long Lan. This glance made Long Lan sweat coldly. Li Hang's mind was like lightning. He looked at Yang Xiaoshan and smiled. "Young friend Yang, you are a young hero. You remain calm even when the sky collapses." Then he said, "It seems that mild face is not useful. In that case, let's bid fairly." At this point, he said to Woking, 180,000. 180,000. Li Hang said it easily, but everyone at the scene jumped when they heard it. 200,000. Yang Xiaoshan was too lazy to waste words with the other party and directly shouted 200,000. 200,000. Some friends who had toothaches suddenly found that their teeth didn't hurt. Everyone was shocked by Yang Xiaoshan's 200,000. 200,000 high-grade spirit stones. That is 2 billion low-grade spirit stones. Imagine 2 billion low-grade spirit stones piled there. I'm afraid even an ant can't climb up. Li Hang's face remained calm when he heard Yang Xiaoshan raise the price to 200,000. He hesitated for a moment and shouted, 250,000. 250,000. Some masters who were originally standing were unsteady and almost fell on their seats. 300,000. Yang Xiaoshan shouted without changing his face. Some who were about to fall but didn't fall now could no longer stand steadily and fell down. Even Long Lan took a breath of cold air. Li Hang's old face also twitched. Li Qian, Long Xingkang and others were all shocked by Yang Xiaoshen's 300,000. They usually saw hundreds of thousands or even millions of low-grade spirit stones, but they had never seen 3 billion low-grade spirit stones. He is crazy. Even Zhu Zuan looked at Yang Xiaoshen and muttered to himself. The sixfold heavenly tribulation thunderwater is a treasure, but it is not worth spending 3 billion low-grade spirit stones to buy it. In everyone's opinion, the sixth heaven tribulation thunderwater would cost at most 10 billion low-grade spirit stones. This is already 3 times more. 3 billion low-grade spirit stones can buy more other treasures, so why did Yang Xiaoshen have to fight for the sixth heaven tribulation thunderwater? Li Hang also looked at Yang Xiaoshen with a strange expression. At this time, he finally realized that this little guy whose brain had been stepped on by a donkey was really determined to get the sixth heaven tribulation thunderwater. Li Hang's face was gloomy, and he finally shook his head and stopped following. If he continued to follow, his brain would not be stepped on by a donkey, but kicked by a tiger. And even if he spent more than 3 billion low-grade spirit stones to buy the sixth heaven tribulation thunderwater back, his father might not be happy and might even kick him in the head. Seeing that Li Hang did not follow, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. If they continued to follow, the seats under their buttocks would probably be the first to fail. Finally, Yang Xiaoshen successfully bid for the sixth heaven tribulation thunderwater with 300,000 high-quality spirit stones. Looking at the sixth heaven tribulation thunderwater, Yang Xiaoshen was filled with joy. Li Hang looked at Yang Xiaoshen, whose face was filled with joy, shook his head, and then turned and left the auction. When leaving, Li Qian glared at Yang Xiaoshen viciously. The strong men from all sides also left one after another. When Wang Zhao, Long Xingkang, Gu Xiaozang and others left, they were all gloating. Yang Xiaoshen did not stay for long, and left with Wu Qi and others. Long Lan also took King Zuan back to the imperial palace. When he separated from Yang Xiaoshen, Long Lan pondered and said, "Young friend Yang, don't leave the imperial capital recently." Yang Xiaoshen knew that Long Lan was worried about his safety, and nodded. "Okay, Uncle Lan, I understand." King Zuan looked back every step of the way and was dragged back to the imperial palace by Long Lan. After returning to Qinglang Mansion, Yang Xiaoshen took out the True Dragon Ball without saying a word and asked the Black Flood Dragon King and the Azure Thunder Python to refine it at the same time. However, not long after Yang Xiaoshen returned to Qinglang Mansion, Liang Yafei, the ancestor of the True Dragon Divine Sect, was rushing to Qinglang Mansion. He had just received the order from the sect and came to recruit Yang Xiaoshen as a seed disciple to join the sect. On the way, Zhu Miao couldn't help but say, "Master, this Yang Xiaoshen is a troublemaker. He has offended too many people. Recruiting such a person into the True Dragon Divine Sect may bring trouble to the True Dragon Divine Sect. Even if he subdues the divine fire, he may not be able to become a medicine god in the future." Liang Yafei shook his head and said, "Recruiting Yang Xiaoshen is the intention of the ancestors, and we just follow his orders." When he heard that it was the intention of the ancestors, Zhu Miao did not dare to object. A moment later, Liang Yafei came to Qinglang Mansion and explained his intention. "Recruit me as a seed disciple." Yang Xiaoshen was surprised. Liang Yafei smiled and said, "That's right, little friend Yang. Our sect master said that if you join our True Dragon Divine Sect, all the medicinal materials in the True Dragon Divine Sect can be used by you. In addition, once you enter the sect, your status and position will be equivalent to that of a core disciple." Chapter 214. 8 more. Once he entered the sect, his status and position were equal to those of a core disciple. Moreover, all the medicinal materials in the sect could be used by him. Such conditions showed the sincerity of the True Dragon Divine Sect. The most important thing was that Yang Xiaoshen had always wanted to join the True Dragon Divine Sect. At this time, Liang Yafei said, "Also, you can freely browse all the techniques, secret books, and supreme magical powers in the sect's library. All supreme magical powers, techniques, and secret books can be browsed. Even core disciples cannot enjoy such treatment. Even if they are core disciples, they need to use the sect's contribution points to exchange for the techniques and magical powers in the library. When Zhu Miomio heard this, she felt unfair and said, "Master, this is not appropriate. Even if they are core disciples, they need to use the sect's contribution points to exchange for the techniques and magical powers in the sect's library. Yang Xiaoshan has no contribution points to the sect at all. Not to mention that she, a core disciple, was unhappy. Other core disciples of the True Dragon Divine Sect would definitely be unhappy if they knew about it." Liang Yafei glanced at Zhu Miomio and rebuked, "Whether it is appropriate or not, it has nothing to do with you." Zhu Miomio nodded and did not dare to interrupt. However, she felt more and more unhappy with Yang Xiaoshan. Liang Yafei smiled at Yang Xiaoshan and said, "Yang Xiao, what do you think?" "Okay." Yang Xiaoshan nodded. Liang Yafei laughed and was very happy when he heard Yang Xiaoshan's agreement. "Congratulations, Yang Xiao, for joining my True Dragon Sect." Then he took out a token. "This is my True Dragon Sect's core disciple identity card. Yang Xiao, please keep it. I will return to the sect tomorrow." "Yang Xiao, how about going back with me?" Yang Xiaoshan shook his head and said, "I still have some things to do." He still had to go to the Red Moon Forest to subdue the Ice Flame Kirin. Afterwards, he and Liang Yafei agreed that they must report to the True Dragon Sect within 3 months. Liang Yafei didn't want to force Yang Xiaoshan, so he told Yang Xiaoshan everything and then left Qinglan Mansion. But just as Liang Yafei left, Zhao Jinzhao, the ancestor of the Xianzang, arrived. Zhao Jinzhao also came on behalf of the Xianzang to accept Yang Xiaoshan as a disciple of the sect. Yang Xiaoshan was very surprised to see Zhao Jinzhao. After all, he had a very bad relationship with Long Xingkang and Zhu Zuan, especially Zhu Zuan. If he hadn't run fast in the Thunder God Cave, he would have killed him long ago. Zhao Jinzhao saw Yang Xiaoshan silent and said, "How about it, Yang Xiaoshan? If you join my Xianzang, you will be mine, a disciple of Xianzang now, second only to one person, and above millions of people." At this point, he said proudly, "My Xianzang is the leader of the 10 super sects in the empire, and its strength is far beyond the other 9 super sects." Yang Xiaoshan shook his head and said bluntly, "Ancestor Liang Yafei just came, and I have joined the True Dragon Sect." At this point, he took out the core disciple token Liang Yafei gave him. Zhao Jinzhao was originally very excited, but when he saw the token in Yang Xiaoshan's hand, his face darkened. "Yang Xiaoshan, the True Dragon Sect is not comparable to our Tatian Sect. If you change your mind now and join our Tatian Sect, the True Dragon Sect will not dare to say anything." At this point, his eyes turned cold. "If you don't join my Tatian Sect, you will be my Tatian Sect's enemy." Hearing Zhao Jinzhao's threat, Yang Xiaoshan said calmly, "Really?" Zhao Jinzhao saw that Yang Xiaoshan ignored his warning, and his eyes were murderous. "Believe it or not, I can kill you now." His 10th level aura of the Saint Realm locked onto Yang Xiaoshan. 100 years later, Yang Xiaoshan is expected to become a medicine god. Since Yang Xiaoshan is unwilling to join the Tatian Sect, he will directly crush Yang Xiaoshan to death now, and the True Dragon Sect will not get the advantage. I advise you not to do it, otherwise, you will die without a complete body. Yang Xiaoshan looked at Zhao Jinzhao indifferently. Zhao Jinzhao was stunned when he heard it, and then he laughed in anger. As the ancestor of the Tatian Sect, he had killed and fought countless battles in his life, but he had never been threatened by a martial king. Zhao Jinzhao stared at Yang Xiaoshan. His heart was full of murderous intent. But at this moment, Luo King suddenly came in to report that Feng Lei, the ancestor of the Maha Divine Sect, was out and wanted to see Yang Xiaoshan. Zhao Jinzhao restrained his murderous intent and looked at Yang Xiaoshan coldly. "Yang Xiaoshan, I will come to take your life at any time. Don't think that Longlan can protect you just because he supports you. My Tatian Sect wants to kill you, and no one can protect you." After saying that, he left with his sleeves. "Young master." Luo King couldn't help but look worried. "Tatian Sect, us. It's okay. Please ask Feng Lei to come in." Yang Xiaoshan shook his head. Luo King nodded. After a while, Feng Lei came in, just like Zhao Jinzhao, and wanted to accept Yang Xiaoshan as a disciple of the sect. The conditions given by the Maha Divine Sect were also very good, not inferior to those of the True Dragon Divine Sect. Yang Xiaoshan also rejected the other party. After Feng Lei learned that Yang Xiaoshan had joined the True Dragon Divine Sect, he sighed for a long time and finally left. Then, masters from the Ancient Palace and the Kingsu Divine Sect also came one after another, all to accept Yang Xiaoshan as a disciple of the sect. Finally, even Xianshan Pavilion came. Xianshan Pavilion is extremely mysterious, and the sect disciples rarely appear. The Imperial List and the Holy List of the Empire are all published by it. The sect is in the Primeval Forest. Yang Xiaoshan did not expect that the masters of Xianshan Pavilion would come, and they were also ancestors. Finally, Yang Xiaoshan simply closed the door and refused to see the guests, and concentrated on subduing the flame of the earth in the yard. With the experience of subduing the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire, the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame, and the Flame of the Stars, Yang Xiaoshan has been quite proficient in subduing the flame of the earth. He used the fire control technique and subdued the flame of the earth very smoothly. The flame of the earth is the first among the strange fires. Together with the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame, he now has 2 of the top 10 strange fires. There are still 8 left. Yang Xiaoshan said secretly. It is rumored that, if the 10 most powerful strange fires are collected, the power of the 10 strange fires will be unparalleled, not weaker than some divine fires. In the blink of an eye, several days passed. The Black Flood Dragon King and the Azure Thunder Python had already refined the dragon essence of the True Dragon Dragon Ball. But to Yang Xiaoshan's disappointment, neither of them had successfully reverted to their ancestral bloodline. Although I didn't revert to my ancestral bloodline, my bloodline is one step closer to the Divine Beast. If I have another True Dragon Ball like this, I should be able to evolve into a Divine Beast. The Black Flood Dragon King said. Another one. Yang Xiaoshan frowned. True Dragon Balls are as rare as Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water. Where can I find them? Yang Xiaoshan thought of Shi Yangping. As the head of the Imperial Pharmacist Hall, Shi Yangping wondered if he had any news about the True Dragon Ball. Afterwards, Yang Xiaoshan went to the Imperial Pharmacist Hall to find Shi Yangping. Upon learning that Yang Xiaoshan was looking for the True Dragon Ball, Shi Yangping pondered and said, I have been wanting to refine a water-based True Dragon Holy Pill for many years. I have collected a lot of information and I actually know that there is a place with the True Dragon Ball. But that place is too dangerous. Even I can't get in. Shi Yangping is at the peak of the 10th level of the Holy Realm, and even he can't get in, which shows how difficult it is. Yang Xiaoshan was overjoyed when he heard it. Do you know where it is? Please ask the Chief Hall Master to tell me. Xiaoshan will be very grateful. Chapter 215, Azure Sea Dragon Palace. Shi Yangping saw Yang Xiaoshan's anxious look and did not hide it. He said, in the deepest part of the Azure Sea, there is a Azure Sea Dragon Palace that has been preserved from ancient times. There should be a real Dragon Ball in it. Azure Sea. Yang Xiaoshan was puzzled. There seemed to be no Azure Sea in the Dragon Empire. Shi Yangping explained, Azure Sea is not in our Dragon Empire, but in the 4 Continents Empire. 4 Continents Empire. Yang Xiaoshan was surprised. The 4 Continents Empire is adjacent to the Dragon Empire. However, the relationship between the 4 Continents Empire and the Dragon Empire is not very good. The 4 Continents Empire has wolfish ambitions and has always wanted to annex the Dragon Empire. Therefore, the 2 empires are constantly at war. The 4 Continents Empire has 4 continents, and the Blue Sea is in the Blue Sky continent. Shi Yangping said, but, in the deepest part of the Blue Sea, there is extremely icy cold air. Even those at the peak of the Saint Realm will be frozen and cannot get close to the Blue Sea Dragon Palace at all. In addition, inside the Blue Sea Dragon Palace, there are many restrictions of the ancient Dragon Clan. It is estimated that even the gods cannot enter the depths of the Blue Sea Dragon Palace. Yang Xiaoshan frowned. Even the gods can't get in? Shi Yangping nodded and said, yes, but as far as I know, every 10 years, the restrictions of the Blue Sea Dragon Palace will weaken, and the gods will barely be able to enter by then. However, it is still very dangerous. April of next year will be the next time the restrictions of the Blue Sea Dragon Palace will weaken. Yang Xiaoshan heard this, and his heart turned happy. If so, then it would be easy. Seeing Yang Xiaoshen's delight, Shi Yangping said, "My dear Yang, although you have the divine fire of thunder tribulation, and are not afraid of the extremely cold air in the deepest part of the Blue Sea, the Blue Sea Dragon Palace is heavily restricted and extremely dangerous. You'd better not go." Yang Xiaoshen nodded and smiled. "Okay, I got it." At this point, he clasped his fists and said in gratitude, "Thank you, Chief Palace Master, for informing me of the Blue Sea Dragon Palace. In the future, if you have any orders, Xiaoshen will do it without hesitation." Shi Yangping smiled and patted Yang Xiaoshen on the shoulder. "I sincerely hope to see you become the god of medicine in 100 years. Then you will inherit the Imperial Pharmacist Hall. Lead my Shenlong Empire Pharmacist Hall to become famous in the Kangshan continent." Yang Xiaoshen nodded seriously. "I will try my best." Then he asked, "Chief Palace Master, I want to ask you about one more thing. Do you know any news about the innate refined iron? Now, all he needs is the innate refined iron to repair the Sky Burial Sword." "Innate fine iron?" Shi Yangping shook his head. "This thing is rarer than the real Dragon Ball. I have no news about it." At this point, he pondered and said, "Perhaps you can go to the Dwarf Mountains of the 100 Races Empire to have a look. Half of the top 10 weapon refining masters in the Kangshan continent came from the dwarves. There should be innate fine iron in the Dwarf Mountains." "Okay, I know." Yang Xiaoshen wrote down Shi Yangping's words. After a while, he came out of the Imperial Pharmacist Hall. Walking on the bustling streets of the Empire, Yang Xiaoshen thought about the real Dragon Ball and the innate fine iron. The Blue Sea Dragon Palace is relatively close in the Four Continents Empire. But the Dwarf Mountains of the 100 Races Empire are too far away. The 100 Races Empire is at the extreme of the Kangshan continent. To get to the 100 Races Empire, you have to cross dozens of empires. Therefore, the matter of innate fine iron has to be found in another way. After returning to Qinglang Mansion, Yang Xiaoshen left the imperial capital that night and went to the Red Moon Forest. Considering the safety of his parents, he left the Black Dragon King in Qinglang Mansion. Moreover, the Black Dragon King would not be able to help in subduing the Ice Flame Kirin. Seeing Yang Xiaoshen leaving the imperial capital, a figure hidden in the darkness with cold eyes followed Yang Xiaoshen out of the imperial capital. This figure was filled with darkness. When flying, there was no fluctuation in the space at all, and it was silent. Yang Xiaoshen used the 1,000 swords to fly all the way to the wilderness. The dark figure followed Yang Xiaoshen all the way. Just when Yang Xiaoshen passed a certain mountain, the dark figure suddenly sped up and instantly came behind Yang Xiaoshen and stabbed out with the sharp thorn in his hand. The sharp thorn was stained with the dead body poison he refined. Even if it was just a scratch, Yang Xiaoshen would rot all over and eventually become a dead body. Just when the poisonous thorn was about to stab Yang Xiaoshen's back, suddenly, he found that the poisonous thorn in his hand could not pierce Yang Xiaoshen's back, but stopped a few inches away from Yang Xiaoshen's back. His eyes widened. What's going on? At this moment, Yang Xiaoshen turned around and looked at the dark figure coldly. Then, the dark figure saw the light surging behind Yang Xiaoshen, and a figure so huge that he couldn't imagine appeared behind Yang Xiaoshen. The dark figure looked at the figure that was so huge that it blocked his entire vision, and was horrified. The king of the beasts. Sky Blue Thunder Python. Then, he looked at Yang Xiaoshen in horror. Yang Xiaoshen actually subdued the king of the beasts of the Red Moon Forest. Feeling the terrifying aura of the Sky Blue Thunder Python in the divine realm, he was shocked, angry and hateful. Longxing Kang and Zhu Zuan, you two idiots. Didn't you say that Yang Xiaoshen only had a black dragon in the Emperor realm? Damn you. I was killed by you. He wanted to escape, but he found that the surroundings were already shrouded by the terrifying aura of the Sky Blue Thunder Python. As long as he escaped, he would be greeted by a destructive blow. Shadow Knight Demon. The Sky Blue Thunder Python looked at the dark figure coldly, and a voice like the thunder of the 9 heavens fell from the sky, shaking the surrounding leaves like rain. Shadow Knight Devil. Number 3 on the killer list. Yang Xiaoshen heard that the dark figure in front of him was Shadow Knight Devil, and asked coldly, "Who sent you to kill me?" Shadow Knight Devil suddenly shook his hands, and countless poisonous needles shot towards Yang Xiaoshen. At the same time, He jumped up and disappeared into the darkness in the blink of an eye. Seeing this, the Azure Thunder Python snorted coldly and without any movement, raised his palm and pressed down. Suddenly, the space was distorted. All the poisonous needles were shot back. The Shadow Knight Devil, who had just disappeared into the darkness, felt that his whole body was hit by a terrifying force and fell out of the darkness again. He turned his head in horror and saw the Azure Thunder Python's huge claws like a mountain. There was a loud bang. The Azure Thunder Python directly pressed the opponent into the ground. The surrounding trees were all turned into powder. Then, the Azure Thunder Python brought Shadow Knight Devil in front of Yang Ocean. "Who sent you?" Yang Ocean looked at the Shadow Knight Devil in front of him and asked coldly again. The dark aura on Shadow Knight Demon's body had long been dissipated, and the mask on his face had also been broken. He was a thin middle-aged man. He looked at Yang Ocean and smiled. His smile was full of mockery. "Yang Ocean, do you think I, Shadow Knight Demon, will tell you who my employer is?" As soon as he finished speaking, the Tangshan divine sword in Yang Ocean's hand pierced into his throat. Just like when he dealt with Fang Heng and Zheng Biao, he inserted it inch by inch. Shadow Knight Demon stared at the Tangshan divine sword in Yang Ocean's hand, and his voice was intermittent. "The Tangshan divine sword of Lord Hangfeng." After saying that, he was already dead. Chapter 216. I'll attack from the front later. After dealing with the Shadow Knight Demon, Yang Ocean searched out the opponent's space ring, and the 9 Phoenix Golden Flame flew out, burning the opponent's body, and then he and the Azure Thunder Python continued on their way. Yang Ocean sat cross-legged on the head of the Azure Thunder Python, and opened the opponent's space ring. Suddenly, a shocking aura rushed out. It was full of spiritual stones. There were low grade, medium grade, and even high grade. The low grade ones were probably hundreds of millions, and the medium and high grade ones were less. Yang Ocean was surprised. He didn't expect that the Shadow Knight Demon had so many spiritual stones. Even some elders of the top 10 super sects were not so rich. In addition to spiritual stones, there were also many spiritual medicines and spiritual pills, but most of them were healing pills, but they were almost all excellent, and there were very few top grade ones. In the corner, he also found more than a dozen secret books of martial arts and magical powers. Yang Ocean was not interested in the secret books of martial arts, but one of them, Shadow Knight Walk, caught Yang Ocean's attention. This book, Shadow Knight Walk, is a supreme magical skill. After practicing it to perfection, one can hide in the darkness and walk silently. If one practices it to the pinnacle, even if he walks in the daytime, he can be completely invisible. Even enemies who are several levels higher than him will find it difficult to detect him. However, to practice Shadow Knight Walk, one must have martial soul with dark attributes. His Black Dragon martial soul is just right. When he practices Shadow Knight Walk to the pinnacle and then combines it with his innate soul skill to hide, it will be really cool. After practicing these days, the innate soul skills of his 2 supreme martial souls have already been awakened. The innate soul skill of the Black Dragon martial soul is absolute concealment. Yang Ocean read Shadow Knight Walk from beginning to end, and he has almost comprehended the mystery of Shadow Knight Walk. However, he was not in a hurry to practice it. After thinking about it once, he continued to read it for the second time. After reading it for the second time, he had already comprehended the mystery of Shadow Knight Walk. Yang Ocean was suddenly covered in darkness, and then he disappeared into the night, completely merging with the darkness. He had used the Shadow Knight Walk. However, he did not use his innate soul skill, absolute concealment. It was just a simple Shadow Knight Walk. Then, Yang Ocean's entire body began to blur, and he completely disappeared into the darkness. This was the Black Dragon's innate soul skill, absolute concealment. Just now, Yang Ocean had only merged with the darkness, and was still there, but now, he had completely disappeared from the spot. He was completely hidden in space. This was absolute concealment. As Yang Ocean's strength increased, the innate soul skills of the 2 supreme martial spirits would become stronger and stronger. When he entered the Emperor realm, I'm afraid that even the peak of the Saint realm would not be able to find him. The Azure Thunder Python was extremely fast, and soon arrived at the Red Moon Forest with Yang Ocean. As it approached the volcano, the Azure Thunder Python became nervous. Feeling the nervousness of the Azure Thunder Python, Yang Ocean patted the Azure Thunder Python and said with a smile, Leo Meng, you have already broken through the divine realm. Why are you afraid of a beast at the peak of the Saint Realm? The Azure Thunder Python smiled bitterly and said, young master, he is a super beast. I'm just a divine beast. Our combat power is completely different. Although he is the top of the divine beasts and is known as the king of divine beasts, he still knows his own weight. Facing a super beast, he is not sure at all. Yang Ocean smiled and said, we still have Master Ding. When Master Ding was mentioned, the Azure Thunder Python was immediately excited. Master Ding, are you sure? Yang Ocean asked Yao Ding. Yao Ding said contemptuously, it's just a super beast at the peak of the Saint Realm. With the sixfold heavenly tribulation thunder water, I'm full of energy now. I will fight it later. Fight it? Yang Ocean said. Fight it. Yao Ding was full of pride. When the Azure Thunder Python heard Yao Ding's heroic words, it also laughed loudly and said, go get it. Yao Ding said, I'll attack the front, and you attack the back. The back. The Azure Thunder Python was stunned, and then Yao Ding said, you focus on the middle of its buttocks. Puff. The Azure Thunder Python almost vomited out the barbecue it had eaten a few days ago. Yang Ocean laughed loudly. The laughter echoed in the dark night. Amidst the laughter, one man, one python and one cauldron finally arrived at the volcano. The volcano in the Red Moon Forest is also a forbidden area of the Red Moon Forest, so no ferocious beasts dared to approach the volcano. In the night, the volcano exuded a strange fiery red light. Although the ice flame Kirin was dormant at the bottom of the volcano, the breath it exuded still made Yang Ocean feel suffocated. Looking at the familiar volcano in front of him, the Azure Thunder Python took a deep breath, flew forward, and suddenly swung its 1,000-foot-long tail horizontally. Suddenly, a violent force hit the volcano. Boom. With a loud bang, the volcano shook violently, and countless rocks splashed and rolled down. One after another, amazing flames were blasted into the sky, and scattered around for an unknown number of miles. Suddenly, the area around the volcano turned into a sea of fire. Just after the Azure Thunder Python blasted, a thunderous roar sounded from the bottom of the volcano. The sound was so strong that Yang Ocean's ears were deafened. Just a roar, the earth-shaking power, scared countless beasts in the Red Moon Forest, and made them lie down directly. Some beasts even peed in fear. In the thunderous roar, an extremely huge unicorn with ice blue flames all over its body appeared above the volcano. The moment Yang Ocean saw the ice flame unicorn, he was shocked. This is a super beast. In the prehistoric mythology, the unicorn is the overlord of heaven and earth. There are too many legends about the unicorn. Legend has it that only the master of heaven and earth can subdue the unicorn. After the ice flame Kirin appeared, it stood high in the sky, looking down at everything in the world, like the Lord of the Nine Heavens. It looked at the Azure Thunder Python. Meng, old man, it turned out to be you. I was wondering who was so bold as to destroy my volcano and disturb my cultivation. It turned out to be you, old man. At this point, it said with overwhelming power, you feel itchy, right? I will cripple you today. It suddenly raised one claw and slapped it directly. The ice blue flame turned into an endless sea of fire and blasted towards the Azure Thunder Python. The ice blue sea of fire was obviously fire, but everything was frozen wherever it passed. The terrifying icy air swept across the world. Yang Ocean felt as if his soul was frozen. He quickly summoned the flame of the earth that he had just subdued, and then he felt better. The Azure Thunder Python looked at the rolling ice blue flame. His face was extremely solemn. He looked up to the sky and slapped his claws, and countless nine heavens thunders fell. In the sky-shaking roar, the ice blue sea of fire was blasted away. The ice flame Kirin exclaimed in surprise, so you have broken through the divine realm. No wonder you dare to destroy my volcano. But, do you think that you have the qualifications to challenge me just because you have broken through the divine realm? Today I will let you know the real gap between a divine beast and a super divine beast. It flashed in front of the Azure Thunder Python and slapped out with its claws. The Azure Thunder Python was full of lightning, and its claws rushed forward. In the distance, Yang Ocean felt the earth-shaking power of the two beasts, and was extremely shocked. The battle between the Azure Thunder Python and the Ice Flame Kirin was far more shocking than the battle between the Azure Thunder Python and ZH Yujing. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 217. Shocking Battle. The earth-shaking roars continued to be heard. The roars of the two beasts alone formed a terrifying sound wave. It was like a super hurricane, sweeping over an unknown number of miles. It could be called the collapse of the sky and the cracking of the earth. Amazing rifts appeared in the surrounding land. The forest that was originally very far away was constantly being flattened by the aftermath of the power of the two beasts. Even if it was just the aftermath of the power of the two beasts, it would be completely turned into powder if it was swept up. Yang Xiaoshan retreated again and again. Even though his beginning dragon art had cultivated a true dragon body, he felt his whole body fall apart and his internal organs torn apart when he was hit by the aftermath of the power of the two beasts. Yang Xiaoshan watched the shocking battle between the two beasts in horror. This was the first time Yang Xiaoshan saw the Sky Blue Thunder Python display its true divine power. However, even so, the Sky Blue Thunder Python was still at a disadvantage. The Ice Flame Kirin's ice flames were surging, emerging in an endless stream. Although the Sky Blue Thunder Python's 9 heavens divine thunder was all over the world, under the power of the ice flames, the light of the 9 heavens divine thunder became dim. So strong. Yang Xiaoshan only then knew what the Sky Blue Thunder Python meant by the completely different combat power. The blood power of the super beast was so strong, so powerful. However, although the Ice Flame Kirin was strong, the Sky Blue Thunder Python was a god after all, and it was not easy for it to defeat the Sky Blue Thunder Python. Just when the two beasts were fighting, and the sky was dark, and the Red Moon Forest was trembling, suddenly, a stream of light with a terrifying flame suddenly blasted towards the Ice Flame Kirin. The speed of this stream of light and flame was extremely fast, and the Ice Flame Kirin was shocked and raised his palm to meet it. Boom. The Ice Flame Kirin was actually shocked and retreated again and again. It looked and saw that it was a huge medicine cauldron. Seeing that the cauldron finally took action, the Sky Blue Thunder Python breathed a sigh of relief. Just now, the Ice Flame Kirin was firing at full power, which was really fierce. It felt the pressure. At this moment, the medicine cauldron shone brightly again, and it blasted at the Ice Flame Kirin with flowing flames, and roared, "I will attack it from the front, and you attack it from the back." Just when the Ice Flame Kirin didn't understand what the medicine cauldron said, the Sky Blue Thunder Python stared at the middle of its butt. The Ice Flame Kirin's whole body was ice blue, but the only part of its butt was not ice blue. It was an obvious target. Just as the medicine cauldron was blasting at the Ice Flame Kirin, the Sky Blue Thunder Python hesitated, suddenly opened its mouth and roared, and the 9 heavens divine thunder blasted towards the target like a tsunami. The Ice Flame Kirin was dealing with the attack of the medicine cauldron. At this moment, he suddenly felt his butt cold, and turned his head suddenly, and saw the 9 heavens divine thunder that was blasting like a tsunami. The Ice Flame Kirin was so scared that his face changed drastically, his butt shrank, and he hid to the side frantically, and roared, "Meng old man, I'll fuck your mother." Boom. It just dodged, and saw the 9 heavens divine thunder rolling past its previous position, and blasting into the volcano in front. A super large hole was blasted out of the volcano. Ice Flame Kirin sweated coldly. Fortunately, it dodged. If it hadn't dodged, what would the consequences be if this blow hit its butt? But at this time, the medicine cauldron hit, and Ice Flame Kirin could no longer dodge. It was hit on the forehead, and was directly blasted out, and fell to the ground. It plowed a terrifying deep pit in the ground. The sandstorm filled the sky. Ice Flame Kirin roared, and just as it was about to fly up, the medicine cauldron passed through the heavy sandstorms and hit its head again, blasting it out again. Seeing this, the Sky Blue Thunder Python attacked the Ice Flame Kirin with the medicine cauldron. The Ice Flame Kirin retreated again and again. However, even if the medicine cauldron hit the Kirin twice, even if the medicine cauldron and the Sky Blue Thunder Python attacked at the same time, it would not be easy to completely get rid of the Ice Flame Kirin. The two beasts and one cauldron killed each other. causing sand and rocks to fly, the earth to collapse, the forest to fall, and the river to flow backwards. The entire Red Moon Forest seemed to have entered a world of destruction. Wherever they passed, some beasts that could not dodge in time were all blasted into blood plasma. Countless beasts fled in fear. Some masters from various countries who had originally entered the Red Moon Forest to hunt beasts felt the terrifying power of the Ice Flame Kirin and the Sky Blue Thunder Python, and were terrified. Even Wu Yu, a disciple of Wang Zhao who had just entered the Red Moon Forest not long ago and wanted to find some medicinal herbs, felt the power of destroying the world, and also felt terrified and flew out. Run. It's the king of divine beasts and the volcano guy who are killing each other. One by one, the strong men rushed out frantically, wishing they had 2 less legs. This battle made dozens of surrounding imperial countries tremble with fear. Countless armies rushed to the border of the imperial country. Even the strong men of the Dragon Empire were alarmed in the end. What? The king of divine beasts, the Azure Thunder Python, and the one with the volcano are fighting. In the capital of the Dragon Emperor, Longlan was shocked. Do you know what the reason is? All the masters of the Dragon Emperor Palace shook their heads. At this time, Wang Zhao in the pharmacist's palace also learned the news, and was also shocked. He asked his subordinates, do you know why? An elder in the pharmacist's palace shook his head. I don't know, but someone heard the one with the volcano cursing. Cursing? Cursing what? Wang Zhao asked hurriedly. This might be important information. I fuck your mother. Wang Zhao. This battle made everyone tremble with fear. They were afraid that the 2 beasts would bring the battlefield to various countries. If the 2 beasts brought the battlefield to any country, the emperor of that country might die. After all, the strength of the 2 beasts is not something that any imperial country can withstand. Even in the Dragon Empire, there are not many people who can withstand the power of the 2 beasts. In the deepest part of the ground of the Dragon Empire's imperial palace, the dragon ancestor also had a look of doubt. It is said that when they reach their level, they will not easily start a war. But why did the 2 beasts suddenly fight to death tonight? However, what made the Xiandao Empire and other major empires breathe a sigh of relief was that the 2 beasts had been fighting in the Red Moon Forest and had not opened the battlefield to any country. One night passed. The sky gradually brightened. While the millions of powerful people in the Dragon Empire were worried, the power of the 2 beasts to destroy the world finally stopped. It seems that the winner has been decided. Who do you think will win? It must be the one from Huashan. That one is a super beast. Once the super beast's taboo technique is released, who can withstand it? However, some people say that the king of the beasts has broken through the realm of gods, and the one from Huashan has not broken through yet. How can the power of the gods be compared with the holy realm? I think the winner is the king of the beasts. Speculations from all sides. Although speculations from all sides, no one dared to enter the Red Moon Forest to find out. At this time, deep in the Red Moon Forest, Yangtze Ocean looked at the dying Ice Flame Kirin in front of him, with the Azure Thunder Python coiled behind him, and the Medicine Cauldron floating beside him. After a night of fighting, the Medicine Cauldron and the Azure Thunder Python finally won. However, it was a miserable victory. The strength of the Ice Flame Kirin was far beyond Yangtze Ocean's imagination. Fortunately, he had bought a lot of 6th Heaven Tribulation Thunder Water a few days ago, and the Medicine Cauldron's divine essence had recovered well. Otherwise, it would be him and the Azure Thunder Python who would escape today. The Ice Flame Kirin looked at Yangtze Ocean with its dying breath. After fighting until now, it finally understood that the cause of their shocking battle was actually the child in front of it. However, it still couldn't figure out why the Azure Thunder Python would worship a child as its master. Chapter 218, Departure, True Dragon Sect. Yangtze Ocean had experience in taming the Azure Thunder Python, so he cut his finger and a drop of blood flew out. Then, he performed the blood sacrifice, silently chanted the spell, and the blood turned into a blood rune, then sank into the Killin's forehead, and imprinted on the other soul sea. Yangtze Ocean and Killin felt that they were connected by blood. He then took out 2 top-grade immortality pills, mixed them with 2 mouthfuls of Heavenly Tribulation Thunder Water, and gave them to Killin to swallow. The injury of the Ice Flame Killin was naturally not as serious as that of the Azure Thunder Python. After swallowing 2 mouthfuls of heavenly tribulation thunder water and 2 top grade immortality pills, it didn't take long for the ice flame killin's breath to stabilize. Yang Ocean took out a few drops of the 6th heavenly tribulation thunder water and let the ice flame killin swallow it. Although most of the 6th heavenly tribulation thunder water was swallowed by the medicine cauldron, Yang Ocean still kept him in case of emergency. After swallowing a few drops of the 6th heaven tribulation thunder water, the ice flame Kirin was able to stand up and move freely, and the wounds on its body were healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Seeing the 6th heaven tribulation thunder water was so effective, Yang Ocean could not help but marvel. The ice flame Kirin looked at the child in front of him with mixed feelings. Even more complicated than the Azure Thunder Python at the beginning. However, it also knew that everything was a foregone conclusion. No matter how unwilling it was, no matter how unhappy it was, it could not do anything. It could not change the facts. Hello, young master. The ice flame Kirin's face changed from cloudy to bright, and then he bowed to Yang Ocean. Yang Ocean nodded. He knew that the ice flame Kirin was unwilling. At this time, the medicine cauldron said, "Boy, don't be dissatisfied. An old man like me follows this kid. What is there to be dissatisfied about for you, who has not even broken through the divine spirit realm?" The ice flame Kirin looked at the medicine cauldron with a look of surprise and doubt. It has also lived for tens of thousands of years, but it is the first time it has heard of medicine cauldron giving birth to a spirit. Because even a divine weapon level medicine cauldron cannot produce a weapon spirit. You will find out later that it is your luck that you can follow him. Yaoding scolded Bing Yang Kilin like scolding a junior. After experiencing the power of Yaoding, Bing Yang Kilin could not say anything, even if he was unhappy. At this time, Shine King Thunder Python said, "Old man Bing, Master Ding is right. The ability of the young master is beyond our imagination." When Bing Yang Kilin heard Shine King Thunder Python speak, he was furious and immediately slapped it with his claws, scaring Shine King Thunder Python to dodge. The two beasts fought again. However, Bing Yang Kilin's injuries had not recovered yet, and he could not do anything to Shine King Thunder Python. The two beasts kept their distance when they attacked again. After a while, Yang Ocean asked the two beasts to stop, and then asked Bing Yang Kilin to take him to Kilin Palace. From Shine King Thunder Python, he learned that Bing Yang Kilin had built a very magnificent Kilin Palace under the volcano. So, Yang Ocean rode on the back of the ice flame Kirin and flew back to the volcano with the Azure Thunder Python. The ice flame Kirin was also huge, not much smaller than the Azure Thunder Python. It flew through the sky like a huge walking iceberg. Yang Ocean discovered that the ice flame Kirin would leave a string of ice blue flame claw marks in the sky, which would last for a long time. Soon, Yang Ocean saw the Kirin Palace of the ice flame Kirin. There is a different world at the bottom of the volcano. The Kirin Palace is made entirely of ice materials, standing at the bottom of the volcano, forming a strong visual impact with the surrounding magma. Yang Ocean walked around and was amazed. The ice flame Kirin said to Yang Ocean, "I have nothing to do in these years, so I built this palace. I'm sorry to make you laugh." Yang Ocean said, "The craftsmanship of this palace is magical, 100 times better than the so-called god craftsman. I will have to ask you for advice on refining in the future. If you are willing, old Bing is willing to teach you everything he knows." The ice flame Kirin smiled. The Azure Thunder Python said, "Old Bing, I remember you hunted a real dragon. You should still have the original power of that real dragon, right?" Bing Yang Kilin immediately stared at the Azure Thunder Python with murderous eyes. The Azure Thunder Python knew that Bing Yang Kilin had misunderstood and quickly shook his hand and said, "It's not that I'm thinking about your real dragon original power. Young master has cultivated many supreme magical powers of the dragon clan. If you have the original power of that real dragon, you can cultivate many of the supreme magical powers of the dragon clan to the pinnacle. Young master has cultivated 14 supreme magical powers to the pinnacle. You only need 16 to condense the strongest and best golden elixir." Bing Yang Kilin looked at Yang Ocean in shock. "Young master, you have cultivated 14 supreme magical powers to the pinnacle. Cultivating more than a dozen supreme magical powers to the pinnacle is nothing. The key is how old Yang Ocean is." Yang Ocean nodded. "I got some opportunities and luckily cultivated the 14 supreme magical powers to the pinnacle. Then he said, "Don't listen to Liu Meng's nonsense. I don't need the original power of the real dragon." The Ice Flame Kirin shook his head and said, "The original power of that real dragon is not very useful to me, so I have never swallowed it and refined it. Since it is useful to you, I will take it for you now." It turned and went into the treasure house. After a while, it came out with a large jade bottle in its hand and said, "I entered the Beast God Mountain and killed an ice dragon of the 10th level of the Holy Realm. This jade bottle contains the original power of that ice dragon. The Beast God Mountain is not in the Dragon Empire. It is quite far away from the Dragon Empire. It is known as the place where the strongest beasts in the Kangshan continent gather. There are billions of fierce beasts there. Compared with them, the Red Moon Forest is nothing." Yang Xiaoshan hesitated for a while, but finally took the jade bottle. He really needs to cultivate more supreme magical powers to the pinnacle. Since he got the Xianlang treasure, he has cultivated the 20 supreme dragon magics in the Xianlang treasure to the state of great success, and 7 of them have even been cultivated to the state of perfection. However, he has never been able to cultivate to the pinnacle. With the original power of the 10th level ice dragon in the Holy Realm, he should be able to cultivate several supreme dragon magics to the pinnacle. So Yang Xiaoshan stayed in the Qilin Palace, swallowing the original power of the ice dragon, while cultivating the supreme dragon magic. The Ice Flame Qilin and the Sky Blue Thunder Python were also not idle, cultivating in the Qilin Palace. In the blink of an eye, 2 months passed. Yang Xiaoshan finally completely refined the original power of the ice dragon. To Yang Xiaoshan's surprise, the original power of the ice dragon had an amazing effect, allowing his 5 supreme dragon magics, that were originally in the perfect state, to break through to the pinnacle. Adding his previous 14, there are now 19. There are still 11 to go. After these days of hard training, he also broke through to the late 9th level of the Martial King. It's time to go to the True Dragon Divine Sect, Yang Xiaoshan thought to himself. He and Liang Yafei agreed to a 3-month period, and now more than 2 months have passed. So, Yang Xiaoshan left the Qilin Palace with the Ice Flame Qilin and the Sky Blue Thunder Python and set off, the True Dragon Divine Sect. Chapter 219 Yang Xiaoshan, far behind. However, before going to the True Dragon Sect, Yang Xiaoshan stopped by Xiandao Academy. After all, he was now accepted as a disciple by the True Dragon Sect, so he had to talk to Fan Ruquan of Xiandao Academy. Fan Ruquan was also very kind to him. If he knew that he was promoted by the True Dragon Sect to be a disciple, he would definitely be happy for him. However, when Yang Xiaoshan came to Fan Ruquan's yard at Xiandao Academy, he saw that the yard was full of people. Zihang was there too. But Fan Ruquan was lying there, no longer breathing. The moment Yang Xiaoshan saw Fan Ruquan, his mind suddenly exploded, and his face turned pale. "Dead!" Exclamation mark. "Who is it?" Yang Xiaoshan clenched his fists and his voice trembled. Zihang's voice was sad. "A student found it in the back mountain this morning. We checked the wound, and it should have been killed by Xiandao swordsmanship." Xiandao swordsmanship. Yang Xiaoshan took a deep breath, walked slowly forward, and came to Fan Ruquan's body. He saw that Fan Ruquan's throat was cut open by some kind of swordsmanship, and the wound was very deep. Seeing Fan Ruquan lying there peacefully without saying anything, Yang Xiaoshan's eyes moistened. After entering Xiandao Academy, the person who treated him best was undoubtedly Fan Ruquan. Fan Ruquan had high hopes for him. "Don't worry, I will find out the murderer." Yang Xiaoshan's voice was sad and low. "I will let him die under the Xiandao swordsmanship as well." This was his oath to Fan Ruquan. It was also his oath to everyone in Xiandao Academy. As the sun set in the west, Yang Xiaoshan walked out of Xiandao Academy, feeling more depressed than ever before. The setting sun pulled his figure, which was very long and lonely. After leaving Xiandao Imperial City, Yang Xiaoshan sat on the Sky Blue Thunder Python without saying a word. The Sky Blue Thunder Python knew that Yang Xiaoshan was in a bad mood, and did not say anything. The sun gradually set. Night fell. The cold wind woke Yang Xiaoshan up. After waking up, Yang Xiaoshan was still thinking about Fan Ruquan. With Fan Ruquan's strength, the one who could kill Fan Ruquan was definitely not the teachers or students of Xiandao Academy. Yang Xiaoshan's mind flashed, and he remembered someone. Shan Chang. Fan Rukun once said that the former dean of Xiandao Academy was killed, and the Xiandao sword fell into the hands of Xian Chang, the second elder of the Tatian sect. Since the Xiandao sword fell into Xian Chang's hands, Xian Chang must know the Xiandao sword technique. Could it be that Fan Rukun was looking for clues and was noticed by Xian Chang, so he killed him? Yang Xiaoshen's eyes were cold. I hope it's not true, otherwise, Xian Chang, you will die. After returning to the imperial capital and seeing his parents, Yang Xiaoshen's depressed mood finally improved. This time when he went to the True Dragon Divine Sect, he wanted to bring his parents and others to the True Dragon Divine Sect. He enjoyed the treatment of a core disciple and could bring 100 people into the True Dragon Divine Sect. Knowing that Yang Xiaoshen was going to the True Dragon Divine Sect, Longlan and King Zuan came to see him off. King Zuan's eyes were full of tears. Brother Xiaoshen, you must come to the imperial capital often to play with me in the future, and I want to eat barbecue. Yang Xiaoshen smiled and said, okay. As Longlan and King Zuan saw them off, Yang Xiaoshen and others disappeared in the sunlight. Okay, let's go back too. Seeing that King Zuan refused to go back for a long time, Longlan had to drag this stubborn niece back. If you want to be with your brother Xiaoshen, you have to work hard to practice in the future. Longlan said, also, you have to practice for your mother. Just as Yang Xiaoshen and others rushed to the True Dragon Divine Sect, Hu Yu, Zhu Maomio, and Wang Yao gathered in the True Dragon Divine Sect. Zhu Maomio and Grilly said that Yang Xiaoshen could freely browse all the sect's skills and magical powers after entering the sect. When Hu Yu heard this, she said angrily, what? Yang Xiaoshen can freely browse all the skills, secret books and magical powers in the sect's book pavilion after entering the sect. Why? She is the daughter of the sect master, and she can't enjoy this privilege. Why can Yang Xiaoshen, a little martial king, be special? Zhu Maomio added, that's not all. When he joins the sect, all medicinal herbs can be used by him. He can use whatever herbs he wants to make pills. At this point, she glanced at Wang Yao and said, that is to say, he can use the evergreen ivy, ice, and fire snake scale fruit and other 1,000-year-old wonders of Yao Feng whenever he wants. Wang Yao was a direct disciple of the master of Yao Feng. Upon hearing this, he couldn't help but get angry. Even my master is reluctant to use these 1,000-year-old wonders. How dare he? Zhu Maomio said to Hu Yu again, Yang Linga is a 14th level martial soul, so it's okay for her to enjoy special treatment. Yang Xiaoshen is only an 11th level martial soul. Why should he enjoy special treatment? When Hu Yu heard Zhu Maomio mention Yang Linga, she immediately became angry. Yang Linga, that cheap girl, is a disciple who just joined the sect. What qualifications does she have to enter the True Dragon Secret Realm to practice? Only one person can enter the True Dragon Secret Realm to practice in a year. Originally, this year she should enter the True Dragon Secret Realm to practice, but as soon as Yang Linga entered the sect, she was arranged to practice there, taking away the quota that was originally hers. The more she thought about it, the angrier she became. She was the daughter of the sect master, but her quota was taken away by a cheap girl who had just entered the sect. Hu Yu stood up angrily and said, I'll go find my father now. After that, she left the hall and disappeared in the blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye, 2 days passed. Yang Xiaoshen and others traveled day and night and finally arrived at the gate of the True Dragon Divine Sect. In front of them, they saw the True Dragon Divine Sect with mountains and peaks, spirit beasts running, countless 1,000-foot spirit springs running endlessly, and disciples of the sect flying on swords. Everyone was stunned by the style of these 10 super sects. Just when Yang Xiaoshen and his party arrived at the gate of the True Dragon Divine Sect, a disciple of the True Dragon Divine Sect who guarded the mountain came over and asked Yang Xiaoshen what he did. Yang Xiaoshen took out the core disciple token Liang Yafei gave him and said, I'm Yang Xiaoshen, and I came to the True Dragon Sect today to report. The mountain guarding disciples had obviously received orders from the top leaders. When they heard that the child in front of them was Yang Xiaoshen, they were shocked and quickly bowed to welcome Yang Xiaoshen and others into the sect. Entering the True Dragon sect's mountain gate, Yang Chao, Huang Yang and others looked at the fairyland-like scene in the True Dragon sect and felt the vibration sound of the 1,000-foot spiritual spring rushing down from a close distance, which was even more shocking, and reluctant to leave. In front, a group of inner disciples were walking and talking. I heard that the sect has specially recruited 2 disciples this time. One is Yang Xiaoshan from Xiandao Academy, and the other is Yu Yi from Wuxiang Academy. As soon as they enter the sect, their status is equivalent to that of core disciples. That Yu Yi was born with the 5-element sword body and the sword heart. I heard that he has already condensed the 6th strongest sword heart, and he is only 12 years old, which is simply shocking. Not only that, he has already cultivated the 8 supreme magical powers to the pinnacle. Soon he will be able to cultivate the 10 supreme magical powers to the pinnacle. He will definitely be able to condense the best golden elixir in the future. Our True Dragon Divine sect hasn't had a top grade golden elixir disciple for 100 years. That Yang Xiaoshan is only an 11th level martial soul and has only cultivated 4 supreme magical powers to the pinnacle. Compared with Yu Yi, he is far behind. I really don't know what the sect leaders are thinking. They specially recruited such a person into the sect, and as soon as he entered the sect, he can enjoy the treatment of a core disciple. Chapter 220. Go to her mountain to open up tomorrow. Hearing the discussion of the group of inner disciples in front, the mountain guarding disciple who took Yang Xiaoshan to the affairs hall to report was a little embarrassed. At this time, another inner disciple said, I heard that after Yang Xiaoshan entered the sect, he could freely browse all the techniques and secret books in the sect's book pavilion. No way. Even core disciples have to exchange contribution points to browse the techniques and secret books in the sect's book pavilion. So, now that the news has spread, the eldest brother, Miss Yu and many core disciples are very unhappy. Hearing the inner disciples' discussion, Yang Xiaoshan's face was calm. After a while, the mountain guarding disciple brought Yang Xiaoshan and his party to the affairs hall. When the deacon Yifeng of the affairs hall heard that it was Yang Xiaoshan, he quickly registered Yang Xiaoshan and then distributed the core disciples' clothes and the first month's spiritual stones and elixirs to Yang Xiaoshan. The core disciples of the True Dragon Divine sect can receive 10 low-grade spiritual stones and 1 high-grade taking UI pill every month. 10 low-grade spiritual stones are equivalent to 100,000 gold. 1 million gold a year is a huge sum of money for Yang Chao, Huang Yang and others. However, Yifeng was embarrassed about where to live. He said to Yang Xiaoshan, Junior brother Yang, the core disciples' mountains have all been opened up. How about you bear with it and live in the courtyard of the inner disciples first? Yang Xiaoshan frowned when he heard it. Before coming here, he learned about the rights of the core disciples of the True Dragon Divine sect. Each core disciple has his own independent mountain, and he can open up and build caves on the entire mountain. But now, Yifeng told him that the mountain has been opened up. Although the courtyard of the inner disciples is not bad, it is just a courtyard. It is not convenient to practice and plant elixirs. How can it be as comfortable as a mountain? Opened up. Yang Xiaoshan asked in a deep voice, when will there be another mountain? Yifeng explained, last month, a junior brother Yai came to report, and it happened to be opened up, but soon someone will be promoted to a saint disciple. When he moves out, there will be one. Yang Xiaoshan frowned. That means, if no core disciple is promoted to a saint disciple, and does not move out, then he will have to squeeze into the inner disciples' courtyard? Xiaoshan, then we will live in the inner disciples' courtyard first. Anyway, it's only temporary. Huang Yang said. Yang Xiaoshan thought about it and nodded. It was getting late now. Tomorrow, he would ask Hunan what was going on. Seeing Yang Xiaoshan nod, Yifeng quickly arranged a courtyard for Yang Xiaoshan. The inner disciples' courtyard was 300 or 400 square meters, with rockery, garden, and backyard martial arts training ground. If Yang Xiaoshan lived alone to practice, it would be okay, but Yang Xiaoshan's group of 20 people would be a bit crowded. The night gradually became darker. Yang Xiaoshan stood in the air above the courtyard, overlooking the night of the True Dragon Divine sect. Under the moonlight, the True Dragon Divine sect had a different kind of beauty. Yao Yi. He said to himself. Unexpectedly, the Yaoi from Washang Academy was also recruited into the True Dragon Divine Sect in advance. Just as Yang Xiaoshan was looking down at the Knight of the True Dragon Sect, Luo King came over and said to Yang Xiaoshan respectfully, "Sir, I have already found out." Just now, he asked Luo King to go out and find out about the core disciples' peaks being developed. It is certainly not normal for a sect's peaks that originally belonged to the core disciples to be developed. What's going on? Yang Xiaoshan asked. Originally, there were still a few peaks for the core disciples that had not been developed, but just a few days ago, that Hu Yu suddenly asked her servants to develop all the peaks that had not been developed. Not a single one was left for you, sir. Luo King replied. Oh, you mean, Hu Yu knew I was coming, so she developed all the remaining peaks? Yang Xiaoshan's face darkened. Yes, these peaks are now inhabited by Hu Yu's servants. Luo King bowed his head and said, I also found out that Zhu Miomio spread the word that you can freely browse the skills and supernatural powers in the True Dragon Divine Sect's book pavilion. It caused many core disciples to be dissatisfied with you, young master. Yang Xiaoshan's eyes turned cold. Zhu Miomio. The True Dragon Divine Sect has a True Dragon secret realm, which contains the aura of a true dragon. If you practice in it, you will make rapid progress. Every year, only one disciple is selected to practice in it. Originally, Hu Yu had the most hope of being selected this year, but in the end Misslinger was chosen. Luo King said. Yang Xiaoshan then understood why Hu Yu had a conflict with his sister. In fact, before Misslinger was selected, Hu Yu had always been jealous of Misslinger's better talent than her, and had already targeted Misslinger everywhere. Luo King said. Does Hunan know about the mountain? Yang Xiaoshan asked. It means that Hu Yu monopolized several peaks. According to the rules of the True Dragon Divine Sect, each core disciple can only open up one mountain. If each core disciple opened up a few peaks, the entire True Dragon Divine Sect would not have enough to open up. Not sure. Luo King shook his head and said, however, He Feng from the affairs hall must know about it. However, Hu Yu is the daughter of the sect master, and the sect master's wife dotes on Hu Yu very much. Even if He Feng knew, he would not dare to say anything. He hesitated for a moment and asked, Sir, what are you going to do next? Yang Xiaoshan said coldly, Hu Yu likes to open up peaks so much, then I will go to her peak, to open up some tomorrow. Luo King hesitated and said, Sir, Hu Yu is the daughter of the sect master after all. So what if she is the daughter of the sect master? Yang Xiaoshan interrupted. Luo King did not dare to say anything more, bowed and saluted, and retreated. He sighed in his heart. At this moment, Hu Yu was on her own peak, and also learned about Yang Xiaoshan's report today. Now, Yang Xiaoshan and his parents are arranged by He Feng to live in the courtyard of the inner disciples. Chen Mei, a maid under Hu Yu, said. She paused and said, Miss, Yang Xiaoshan will probably make a scene. So what if he makes a scene? Hu Yu sneered. I don't know who dares to intervene. His family can live in the courtyard of the inner disciples of my True Dragon Divine Sect. It is a blessing accumulated over several lifetimes. The night will eventually pass. Yang Xiaoshan stopped practicing. However, just when he was about to go to Hu Yu Mountain, to open up a good place, the ancestor of the True Dragon Divine Sect, Deng Hanqing, came to find him with his disciples. After Deng Hanqing arrived, he explained his purpose. You want to accept me as a disciple? Yang Xiaoshan was somewhat surprised. Deng Hanqing smiled and said, that's right. At this time, Deng Hanqing's disciple Huangxin said, Yang Xiaoshan, my master is the best ancestor in the True Dragon Sect who is good at alchemy. In terms of alchemy level, even the sect master is not as good as my master. Many core disciples of the sect want to become my master's disciples, but they don't have this opportunity. It's rare that my master wants to accept you as his disciple now. Why don't you step forward and become his disciple quickly? Deng Hanqing looked at Yang Xiaoshan with a smile in his eyes. Chapter 221. Do you think you are qualified? Yang Xiaoshan looked at Deng Hang and shook his head, saying, I have no plans to become his disciple for the time being. Huangxin and Deng Hang were both stunned. Deng Hang, who was originally smiling and expecting Yang Xiaoshan to come forward to become his disciple, froze in his smile. He is one of the strongest ancestors of the True Dragon Divine Sect, and the best ancestor in the True Dragon Divine Sect at refining pills. Yang Xiaoshan actually refused to become his disciple. Huang Xin's face darkened and he said, Yang Xiaoshan, my master is not only the best ancestor in the True Dragon Divine Sect at refining pills, but also one of the strongest ancestors in the True Dragon Divine Sect. He is a supreme being in the late 10th level of the Holy Realm. Have you thought it through? There is only one chance. Yang Xiaoshan still shook his head and said, I have no plans to become his disciple for the time being. Late 10th level of the Holy Realm, a supreme being? Even his mount, the Azure Thunder Python, is in the Divine Spirit Realm. How can he become his disciple? For a being like Denking Hong, the Azure Thunder Python can easily suppress it with one hand. Denking Hong's face looked a little ugly. Unexpectedly, he, a dignified late-stage 10th level Saint Realm ancestor, wanted to accept a new disciple, but was rejected. To put it bluntly, the other party looked down on him. Huang Xin was also very angry and said, Yang Xiaoshan, although you have refined a mysterious level elixir at the Martial King realm, don't think you can really become a medicine god in the future. Medicine god? You can't expect it. Without my master's guidance, you can't become a medicine god at all. Hearing this, Yang Xiaoshan smiled and said, is your master one of the strongest ancestors of the True Dragon Divine Sect? But I heard that the strongest ancestor of the True Dragon Divine Sect is Li Zhenqing. He had inquired about it. The True Dragon Divine Sect has two masters of the Divine Spirit Realm. One is Li Zhenqing. The other is the Guardian Beast of the True Dragon Divine Sect. Denking Hong and Huang Xin were both stunned when they heard Yang Xiaoshan mention Li Zhenqing. Huang Xin then looked at Yang Xiaoshan with contempt. Yang Xiaoshan, you want to worship the ancestor as your master? It's just wishful thinking. Even your sister doesn't have the qualifications. You are only an 11th level martial spirit. Do you think you are qualified? You are just better at refining medicine. If it weren't for you conquering the divine fire, you wouldn't even be qualified to worship my master as your master. Yang Xiaoshan originally mentioned Li Zhenqing casually, but he didn't expect Denking Hong and Huang Xin to mistakenly think that he wanted to worship Li Zhenqing as his master. Although Li Zhenqing is in the divine realm, he is the same as the Sky Blue Thunder Python. Both of them are in the first level of the divine realm. If they really fight, Li Zhenqing may not be the opponent of the Sky Blue Thunder Python. After all, the Sky Blue Thunder Python is the peak bloodline of the Divine Beast, and is the king of the Divine Beast. Of course, Yang Xiaoshan can't worship Li Zhenqing as his master. However, he didn't explain much. Yang Xiaoshan, you'd better face the reality. Huang Xin said again, you are very lucky to be able to worship my master as your master. Yang Xiaoshan frowned. Before Huang Xin could speak, Denking Hong said in a deep voice, forget it. It's just an 11th level martial spirit. I feel ashamed to be my nominal disciple. Having said this, he left with a wave of his sleeves. Huang Xin saw this, and did not stay any longer. He followed Denking Hong and flew away. The two disappeared in the blink of an eye. Seeing Denking Hong leave angrily, Yang Xiaoshan did not care. He took Wuqi, Luo King and others to fly to the mountain cave area of the core disciples. On the way, Wuqi looked worried and said, Sir, Denking Hong is the ancestor of the True Dragon Sect. You rejected him, and he is resentful. I'm afraid he will embarrass you in the future. It's okay. Yang Xiaoshan said. Wuqi heard it, and didn't say much. Soon, several people came to the core disciples cave area. At a glance, the core disciples mountains were scattered and orderly. On the mountains, spiritual energy was lingering, spiritual springs were flowing, spiritual medicines were shining, and strange trees were towering. In terms of training conditions, the mountains where the core disciples lived were simply 100,000 streets away from the courtyards where the inner disciples lived. Compared with the mountain of the core disciples, the courtyard where the inner disciples lived was a slum. Yang Xiaoshan asked about the location of Huyu's mountain, and flew straight here. After a while, he arrived at several mountains that Huyu's servants had developed a few days ago. Although they had only been developed for a few days, these mountains had been developed in a very good way. Many places on the mountainside were planted with spiritual medicines and spiritual trees. and in a conspicuous place on the mountainside, there was a tall stone tablet erected, which read "Private Cave, no trespassing." This stone tablet was obviously erected by Hu Yu for Yang Zai Ocean to see. It was also a special warning to Yang Zai Ocean. When Yang Zai Ocean arrived, there were still people developing medicinal fields and planting spiritual medicines in them. These people were undoubtedly Hu Yu's servants. Yang Zai Ocean ignored these servants and continued to fly to Hu Yu's main peak. Hu Yu had subdued a unicorn a few days ago. When he was about to ride the unicorn out for fun, he saw several figures flying over here. In the blink of an eye, they arrived in front of her mountain. "Miss, it seems to be Yang Zai Ocean," a maid beside her said. Hu Yu was surprised. She didn't expect Yang Zai Ocean to come directly to her. She raised her chin with a proud face. "Are you Yang Zai Ocean? Are you Hu Yu?" Yang Zai Ocean's face was indifferent. A servant behind Hu Yu shouted, "Yang Zai Ocean, our lady asked you a question. You are deaf, right? You just need to answer yes or no." Quack. Yang Zai Ocean raised his hand and made a Vajra indestructible big handprint. The peak servant of the Martial King realm behind Hu Yu was instantly blown away by the big handprint and smashed into the distant mountain wall and fainted. Hu Yu was furious when she saw it and pointed the long whip in her hand at Yang Zai Ocean. "Yang Zai Ocean, you dare to come to my mountain and hurt my people." As the daughter of the sect master, all the core disciples were respectful to her. "Who dares to hurt her people?" Yang Zai Ocean just arrived and dared to hurt her people. She raised the whip in her hand and whipped it towards Yang Zai Ocean and at the same time shouted to her men, "Beat him up. If anything goes wrong, I'll be there. Kill all those servants around him." Immediately, dozens of her men swarmed towards Yang Zai Ocean and his men. One of them stabbed Yang Zai Ocean's chest with a long sword. Yang Zai Ocean's eyes turned cold. According to the rules of the True Dragon sect, if these men dared to attack the core disciples, it would be a capital crime. But Hu Yu's men still dared to attack him. It can be seen how arrogant and domineering Hu Yu is usually, and her men are so reckless. Yang Zai Ocean raised his hand, grasped the whip in Hu Yu's hand, and looked at Hu Yu and his men coldly. Just when Hu Yu's men attacked Yang Zai Ocean, suddenly, the sky and the earth darkened. Hu Yu's men looked up in shock and saw the Black Dragon King, who was like a huge mountain. Feeling the Black Flood Dragon King's aura as powerful as hell, Hu Yu's face changed. She said in shock and anger, "Yang Zai Ocean, I'm the sect leader's daughter. If you dare to touch a hair on my head, you will be guilty of a capital crime." As soon as she finished speaking, she saw the Black Flood Dragon King's huge tail sweeping towards her. Chapter 222. I'm the sect master's daughter. When the Black Flood Dragon King's tail swept past, a terrifying sound wave whistled. As the faces of Hu Yu's servants changed drastically, the giant tail swept them away one by one with overwhelming force. Among these servants under Hu Yu, there were many masters in the Imperial Realm, but how could they stop the Black Flood Dragon King at the peak of the Imperial Realm? Seeing all her men being swept away and smashed into the depths of the mountain, and how many palaces were blasted through, Hu Yu was extremely angry and felt like her chest was about to explode. She stared at Yang Zai Ocean with murderous eyes. "Yang Zai Ocean, you are dead, and you, the dragon, will all die ugly." "Really?" Yang Zai Ocean pulled and snatched her long whip from her hand. Hu Yu felt a pain in the hand holding the long whip and felt the skin on her palm was broken and bleeding. Seeing her delicate little hands, that she usually took care of being broken and bleeding by Yang Zai Ocean, Hu Yu felt pain and hatred, and her eyes almost spit fire. "Yang Zai Ocean, I'm the daughter of the clan leader, and my father will not let you go." Hearing the other party saying that she was the daughter of the clan leader, Yang Zai Ocean said, "You don't need to tell me, I also know that you are the daughter of the clan leader." Having said this, he whipped her. He whipped the other party directly. Hu Yu was whipped and flew away, and she felt a burning pain all over her body. She was stunned. "You dare to whip me?" This whip was specially made by her. Usually, she would whip anyone who dared to disobey her. It was very easy to whip, but she never thought that one day she would be whipped by someone. "You can whip others, why can't others whip you?" Yang Zai Ocean's eyes were cold. "No one is nobler than anyone else." After saying that, he threw the other party's long whip into the distant mountain. "Also, tell all your servants to get out of those mountains today, otherwise, I will come again tomorrow." After saying that, he left with the Black Dragon King, Wookiee and others. Who you looked at Yang Zai Ocean who was leaving and was so angry that she vomited blood. She screamed in anger, Yang Zai Ocean, I will not let you go. Looking at the mountains around her that were destroyed in a mess, Who you was so angry that she wanted to soar to the sky. After several years of management, this mountain finally had such a scene today, but now it is all destroyed. Who you got up, swallowed the next pill, and without wiping off the blood on her hands, she rode on the unicorn and flew to her father's palace. After a while, Who you saw her father Hunan and mother Eliuping. Because Who you deliberately did not wipe off the blood on her hands, she let the blood drip all over her body, which looked very scary. When Eliuping saw Who you covered in blood and pale, she rushed forward to treat Who you. She was so distressed that she angrily said, Who hurt you? Who on earth? Who you burst into tears. Mother, it was Yang Zai Ocean. The brother of that bitch Yanglinger, he hurt me. What? When Eliuping heard this, she immediately said angrily, it was the brother of that bitch Yanglinger who gave him the courage to hurt you. She turned to Hunan and said, as the leader of a sect, look at the kind of person you recruit. He is so bold that he dared to hurt my daughter as soon as he entered the sect. Does he have any sect rules in his eyes? Does he still take you and me seriously? Hunan also frowned. He called his eldest disciple Fang Shaoqiang and said, go and check what is going on. Hearing this, Eliuping said angrily, what are you still investigating? It's obvious that Yang Zai Ocean hurt you and my daughter. Then he said to Fang Shaoqiang, go, arrest that Yang Zai Ocean immediately. Fang Shaoqiang couldn't help but look at Hunan. Hunan scolded, nonsense. Then he said to Fang Shaoqiang, check what's going on. He added, I want to know the real reason. He knew that Fang Shaoqiang and Eliuping sometimes did some tricks behind his back. Yes, master. Fang Shaoqiang replied respectfully and bowed and left. Seeing this, Who you cried to Eliuping, mother, you don't know that Yang Zai Ocean is very arrogant. He came to my mountain this morning and hurt people. My cave was destroyed by Yang Zai Ocean and turned into ruins. What? Eliuping was furious when she heard it and said to Hunan, listen, that Yang Zai Ocean is so arrogant. Hunan stared at his daughter. Why did Yang Zai Ocean go to your mountain to hurt people? Who you hesitated. Who knows what he is crazy about? Maybe he heard that I targeted his sister before and he came here today to vent his anger for his sister. Hunan looked confused and soon, Fang Shaoqiang, who was investigating the news, turned back. He did not dare to hide anything and told him everything. Knowing that it was his daughter who first occupied Yang Zai Ocean's mountain, Hunan immediately flew into a rage at his daughter. What else do you have to say? Who you shrank behind Eliuping. However, Eliuping said, although your daughter was wrong, first Yang Zai Ocean did hurt your daughter. He did this, which clearly shows that he does not take you and me seriously. Hunan snorted coldly, it's just a superficial injury. Fang Shaoqiang said at this time, master, I also think that Yang Zai Ocean is too arrogant. The reason why he dared to hurt the second junior sister so unscrupulously, I think, is that he relied on the fact that he had subdued the divine fire and the fact that he had an emperor level dragon. Eliuping said, Shaoqiang is right, we have to make him hand over the divine fire and the dragon. Keep him under control. Upon hearing this, Hunan interrupted immediately, okay, let's not mention these things anymore. Then he turned to Hu Yu and said, go back now, and let all your servants move out of those mountains. In the future, if you dare to ignore the rules of the sect again, even if you are my daughter, I will punish you severely. Therefore, not long after Yang Zai Ocean returned to the inner disciples' courtyard, He Feng from the affairs hall came over and said that there was already a mountain peak and asked Yang Zai Ocean to move there. Then he asked Yang Zai Ocean to pick one himself. Of course, Yang Zai Ocean picked the biggest one. On the same day, Yang Zai Ocean and others moved there. Originally, Hu Yu's servants had already opened up a medicinal field on the mountain peak, but when her servants moved out, they blasted the medicinal field to pieces, obviously following Hu Yu's orders. Yang Zai Ocean took his parents, Wookiee and others, to walk around the mountain peak for a short time. Looking at the mountain peak, that looked like a fairyland in the heaven, everyone was more and more happy. Next, Yang Xiaoshan asked everyone to start working, first cutting wood to build a place to live. After all, they couldn't sleep in the open air. Everyone was a master, and when it got dark, several large wooden houses were built. Although it was just a wooden house, the mountain peak was full of spiritual energy, and the sky and land were vast, which was much more comfortable and free than the inner disciples' courtyard. Yang Xiaoshan stood on the top of the mountain and looked out into the wind. From now on, this place will be our evolutionary base, and we must improve and build it. However, it is a huge project to transform such a big mountain. Chapter 223 Kill the Tyrannosaurus Rex. That night, everyone sat around the campfire, chatting and laughing. Yang Chao sighed. It would be great if Linga was here too. Their family hadn't been together for a long time. In a few months, Linga will come out of the True Dragon Secret Realm. Yang Xiaoshan comforted his father and mother. Yang Linga entered the True Dragon Secret Realm to practice for a year. Now it has been more than 7 months, and there are more than 4 months before she comes out. However, it will be the new year in 2 months. So this year, Yang Linga can't come out to celebrate the new year with them. Wait for your sister to come out, and then our family will be together and happy. Huang Ying smiled. Yang Xiaoshan smiled and said, when the girl comes out, I have to buy her a lot of lollipops. Xiaojin heard it and hurriedly said, young master, and me, I want some too. Everyone laughed. The night breeze was blowing. Unknowingly, it was dawn. Early in the morning, Yang Xiaoshan went to the affairs hall to find Hefeng and asked Hefeng to hire someone to help him build a cave. Considering that it is inconvenient for the disciples of the sect to build caves, the Zhenlong Shenzong Affairs Hall can hire people to help the core disciples build caves, but they have to charge spirit stones. Of course, the price is not cheap. Yang Xiaoshan has no shortage of spirit stones, so he doesn't care about these. Soon, Hefeng invited hundreds of people to the mountain to start construction. According to Yang Xiaoshan's requirements, all the materials used were first class. These hundreds of people were obviously experts, and soon, one palace after another was built. In just half a month, dozens of palaces were built, and the area was 10 times larger than that of Qinglang Mansion. But the price was ridiculously expensive. It actually cost more than 3 million low-grade spirit stones. You know, Qinglang Mansion only has hundreds of thousands of low-grade spirit stones, which is equivalent to more than 20 Qinglang Mansions. Looking at the newly built cave, Yang Xiaoshan was very satisfied and gave Hefeng an extra 100 low-grade spirit stones, which made Hefeng flattered. After the cave was completed, Yang Xiaoshan and others held a banquet and celebrated it. Until late at night, after everyone dispersed, Yang Xiaoshan came to his palace and sat cross-legged on the cold jade bed to practice the dragon art. Soon, more than 1,000 true essence dragons entangled around Yang Xiaoshan's body. After these days of hard practice, Yang Xiaoshan's true essence dragons have approached 2,000. As long as it reaches 2,000, his true dragon body can evolve into a true dragon tyrant body. Once he achieves the true dragon tyrant body, the strength and defense of his physical body will increase again. When his true essence dragons reach 10,000, he can condense the true dragon wings. At that time, the true dragon wings behind him will unfold, which can be used for attack and defense. Of course, if it rains, you can also take them out to keep out the rain. In the following days, Yang Xiaoshan practiced the supreme divine power in the palace during the day and practiced the dragon art at night. A month passed quickly. Yang Xiaoshan's cultivation broke through to the 10th level of the martial king. At the same time, another sword technique was cultivated to the pinnacle. Adding the previous 19, it is 20. Despite this, Yang Xiaoshan still felt that the practice of the supreme divine power was too slow. After all, in 3 months at most, he will be able to break through to the peak of the 10th level of the martial king. In these 3 months, he must find a way to cultivate the other 10 supreme magical powers to the pinnacle. It seems that I still have to find the innate sword spirit or the power of the true dragon's origin. Yang Xiaoshan thought to himself. Yang Xiaoshan summoned the Ice Flame Kirin, the Sky Blue Thunder Python, and the Black Dragon King, and asked the 3 beasts about the innate sword spirit and the power of the true dragon's origin. After all, the three beasts have been practicing for many years and may know innate sword spirit. In fact, the true dragon sect has it. Ice Flame Kirin said. Yang Ocean was very surprised. Does the true dragon sect have innate sword spirits? The true dragon sect has a sword road, and at the end of the sword road is the sword sea. There must be innate sword spirits in the sword sea. Ice Flame Kirin said. Sword road. Yang Ocean heard the disciples of the true dragon sect mention the sword road a few days ago, but he didn't know it very clearly. Yes, the sword path. Bing Iron Killin said, you must pass through the sword path to reach the end of the sword path, but the sword path of the true dragon sect is not easy to pass. On the sword path, there are various ancient sword tablets. Only by understanding these ancient sword tablets can you keep moving forward. But, in the tens of thousands of years of the true dragon sect, no one has ever been able to reach the end of the sword path. Yang Ocean was surprised. No one. Yes. Bing Iron Killer nodded and said, this sword path has existed in ancient times. Even many evil geniuses in ancient times could not reach the end. Yang Ocean's heart sank. In fact, the true dragon sect also has the power of the true dragon origin. Cheyenne King Thunder Python said. Yang Ocean was stunned. The guardian beast of the true dragon sect is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Bing Iron Killin smiled maliciously. If you kill this Tyrannosaurus Rex, then you will have the power of the true dragon origin. Yang Ocean sweated. Bing Iron Killin said seriously, if Lao Meng and I join forces, we should be able to kill that Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yang Ocean shook his head and smiled bitterly. Forget it, let's think of other ways. He had just become a disciple of the true dragon sect, and he killed someone else's guardian beast. This is not good. Moreover, the true dragon sect also has Li Zhenking and a group of Saint Realm ancestors. If they join forces, who knows who will kill whom? Then you can only wait until April and go to the Azure Sea Dragon Palace. Bing Iron Killin said. Yang Ocean's heart moved, and he said, Lao Bing, do you mean that in addition to the true Dragon Ball, the Azure Sea Dragon Palace also has the true dragon origin power? Bing Iron Killer nodded and said, the Azure Sea Dragon Palace is a cultivation cave of the ancient dragon clan strongman. There must be the true dragon origin power in it, and there should be more than one true dragon origin power. Yang Ocean took a deep breath. More than one? If so, he will have a chance to cultivate the remaining 10 supreme magical powers of the dragon race to the pinnacle. April. It's already January. There are still 3 months left. After learning that the Azure Sea Dragon Palace has the power of the true dragon origin, Yang Ocean felt much more relaxed. However, he had almost used up his pills recently, so he planned to go to Yao Feng to get some medicinal materials to refine the taking UI pill. Yang Ocean left the palace and flew to Yao Feng. Just as Yang Ocean was flying to Yao Feng, Denking Han's disciple Huangxin also came to Yao Feng. He was received by Wang Yao, the disciple of Yao Feng Peak Master. Huangxin came to Yao Feng this time to follow Denking Han's order to get some medicinal materials to go back and refine pills for Denking Han. Has Yang Ocean come to Yao Feng to get medicinal materials to refine pills recently? Huangxin asked Wang Yao. Wang Yao shook her head and said, he hasn't been to Yao Feng for more than a month. Huangxin said coldly, if he comes to Yao Feng to get herbs for alchemy, tell him there are none. No matter what herbs he wants, there are none. This is my master's order, do you understand? Wang Yao nodded, I have passed it on. Huangxin sneered, without herbs, I wonder how he will make the alchemy. Without herbs to make the alchemy, even if he has the divine fire, it will be useless. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 224. Not a single copy. Wang Yao said, don't worry, Yang Ocean will never take a piece of medicine from Yao Feng. Then he said disdainfully, he is a new disciple, and he wants to use the medicine from Yao Feng at will. It's wishful thinking. The two did not know that Yang Ocean was flying towards Yao Feng at a very fast speed. Yang Xiaoshan was flying, but he saw a huge peak in front of him, which went straight into the sky, like a huge sword inserted into the sky. This is the sword peak of the True Dragon Divine Sect. The most famous places in the True Dragon Divine Sect are the Sword Peak and the Medicine Peak. After joining the True Dragon Divine Sect, if you want to join the Sword Peak and become a disciple of the Sword Peak, you must pass the assessment of the Sword Peak. Of course, the assessment is very strict. The same is true for those who want to become a disciple of the Medicine Peak. Therefore, in the True Dragon Divine Sect, the disciples of the Sword Peak and the Medicine Peak have a transcendent status. Just as Yang Xiaoshan passed by the Sword Peak, he saw a group of disciples flying out of the Sword Peak. Junior brother Yu Yi has cultivated the 9 supreme swordsmanship to the pinnacle. He has also condensed 6 of the strongest sword hearts, which is extremely terrifying. It is inevitable that junior brother Yu Yi will condense the best golden elixir. He will become the first disciple of our True Dragon Divine Sect to condense the best golden elixir in the past 100 years. I heard that even our ancestor Long Heo, who has been in seclusion for 100 years, has come out of seclusion, just to accept Yu Yi as his disciple. And the date has been set. Once the True Dragon assessment is over, the apprenticeship ceremony will be held. This group of Jianfeng disciples were talking excitedly. Ancestor Long Heo? Yang Xiaoshan's heart moved. The strongest ancestor of the True Dragon Divine Sect is Li Zengqing, who is at the first level of the Divine Spirit. The second is Long Heo, who is at the peak of the 10th level of the Saint Realm. It can be said that Long Heo has the supreme status in the True Dragon Divine Sect. Moreover, Long Heo is the master of the current peak master of Jianfeng. It can be said that it is an incomparable honor to be accepted as a direct disciple by Long Heo. I heard that Yang Xiaoshan has also condensed 5 of the strongest sword hearts. At this time, a disciple from Jianfeng said, "How can Yang Xiaoshan compare with junior brother Yai? He is only a level 11 martial soul, while junior brother Yai is a level 13 martial soul." Yang Xiaoshan has cultivated 4 supreme magical powers to the pinnacle, while junior brother Yai has already cultivated 9. A few days ago, it seemed that ancestor Denking Han wanted to accept Yang Xiaoshan as a disciple, but was rejected by Yang Xiaoshan. I don't know if it's true or not. It must be false. Many disciples said that Yang Xiaoshan wanted to worship ancestor Denking Han as his master, but was rejected by ancestor Denking Han. The group of Jianfeng disciples flew away with sneers. Yang Xiaoshan frowned. He worshipped Denking Han as his master, but was rejected. No need to think, it was Denking Han and Huanxin who deliberately made up the rumor. Not long after passing Jianfeng, Yang Xiaoshan came to Yaofeng. However, as soon as Yang Xiaoshan arrived at Yaofeng, he was stopped by a disciple of Yaofeng. "Who are you? Why are you here?" "I'm Yang Xiaoshan, and I came to Yaofeng to get medicine for alchemy." Yang Xiaoshan clasped his fists and said. The disciple of Yaofeng looked Yang Xiaoshan up and down. "Are you Yang Xiaoshan? Do you have a handwritten order from the ancestor or the sect master when you come to Yaofeng to get medicine?" "Handwritten order from the ancestor or the sect master?" Yang Xiaoshan was stunned. "Yes, if you want to come to Yaofeng to get medicine, you must have a handwritten order from the ancestor or the sect master." The disciple of Yaofeng looked at Yang Xiaoshan jokingly. "You don't know this, do you? Before I joined the True Dragon Divine Sect, Liang Yafei said that, as long as I joined the True Dragon Divine Sect, all the medicinal materials in the sect could be used by me." Yang Xiaoshan looked at the other party. When the Medicine Peak disciple heard this, he burst into laughter, as if he had heard a big joke. "All the medicinal materials in the sect can be used by you. Do you know that even Miss Hu Yu needs to have the sect master's handwritten order to get the medicine? Who do you think you are? If you keep talking nonsense here, don't blame me for throwing you off the mountain." Yang Xiaoshan was too lazy to listen to the other party's nonsense and directly grabbed the other party's neck. Seeing that Yang Xiaoshan dared to take action first, the Medicine Peak disciple was furious. "Yang Xiaoshan, you are so bold. You." However, before he finished speaking, he was thrown away by Yang Xiaoshan and rolled all the way down. Yang Xiaoshan glanced coldly at the Medicine Peak disciple who rolled down. As soon as he entered the sect, all the medicinal materials in the sect could be used by him. This matter had already spread throughout the sect. He didn't believe that the Medicine Peak disciple didn't know. The other party was obviously following someone's orders and deliberately stopped him here. He turned and looked at the Medicine Peak, his eyes cold, and continued to walk towards the medicine hall halfway up the mountain. Just as Huang Xin and Wang Yao were chatting, suddenly, there was a loud bang on the top of Yao Feng Mountain, which spread throughout the Yao Feng Mountain. After Wang Yao was startled, her pretty face changed. Someone has trespassed into Yao Feng Mountain. At this time, a Yao Feng disciple came in with a panic and reported to Wang Yao, "Senior sister, Yang Xiaoshan trespassed into Yao Feng Mountain, and he is almost here. We Yao Feng disciples can't stop him at all." Wang Yao was shocked and angry when she heard that Yang Xiaoshan dared to trespass into Yao Feng Mountain and got here so quickly. "I'll go with you to take a look." "No need." At this time, a voice sounded, and a figure came with strange fire under his feet. It was Yang Xiaoshan. Seeing the strange fire under Yang Xiaoshan's feet, both Wang Yao and Huang Xin exclaimed, "Earth flame." The strange fire under Yang Xiaoshan's feet was the first strange fire, the earth flame. These days, he has been completely familiar with controlling the earth flame. The earth flame seemed to be pouring out from the earth, supporting Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshan was just wondering who had asked the disciples of Yao Feng to stop him. Now that he saw Huang Xin, he understood something. Seeing Yang Xiaoshan staring at him coldly, Huang Xin shouted, "Yang Xiaoshan, as a disciple of the True Dragon Divine Sect, you trespassed into Yao Feng and injured Yao Feng disciples. Do you still take the laws and regulations of the True Dragon Divine Sect seriously? According to the rules of the True Dragon Divine Sect, you will not only be deprived of your status as a core disciple, but also." However, as soon as he said this, the Black Flood King behind Yang Xiaoshan appeared. The Black Flood King stared at him coldly with eyes like a small lake. Huang Xin's voice stopped abruptly. Yang Xiaoshan put away the flame of the earth, looked at Wang Yao, and said coldly, "Are you Wang Yao? Before I joined the True Dragon Divine Sect, your True Dragon Divine Sect once said that all the medicinal materials in the sect can be used by me. I came here today to take medicinal materials to make pills." At this point, he flicked his finger and a list of medicinal materials flew into Wang Yao's hands. Wang Yao looked at the list of medicinal materials for the taking UI pill in his hand and shook his head, saying, "The medicinal materials for the taking UI pill were used up yesterday." "Used up?" Yang Xiaoshan's face was calm. Wang Yao said without changing his expression, "Yes, they are all used up. There is not a single piece left." At this time, a confused disciple of Yao Feng came out from the inner hall and said to Huang Xin, "Brother Huang Xin, these are 10 portions of medicinal materials for the taking UI pill. We have packed them for you." Huang Xin also came here today to get the medicinal materials for refining the taking UI pill. Chapter 225 True Dragon Assessment. Wang Yao's face was as embarrassed as it could be. She just said that she didn't have any. But in a blink of an eye, the disciples of Yao Feng took out 10 copies and gave them to Huang Xin. Yang Xiaoshan stared at Wang Yao coldly. Wang Yao forced herself to remain calm and said, "Yang Xiaoshan, to tell you the truth, there are medicinal materials for taking UI Dan, and there are still a lot of them, but don't even think about taking a single medicinal material from our Yao Feng. Our medicinal materials from Yao Feng will never be given to you by anyone." Yang Xiaoshan's face was cold. "Is this your personal opinion, or the opinion of your Yao Feng master?" Wang Yao took a deep breath. "This is my opinion, my master's opinion, and the opinion of all the disciples of Yao Feng." At this moment, a majestic voice sounded, "Yes, this is the opinion of our entire Yao Feng." A tall figure flew over from a distance. "Master." Wang Yao saw the person coming. Her face lit up, and she went to greet him. The person coming was Tang Mu, the master of Yao Feng. "Senior brother Tang." Huang Xin didn't dare to be arrogant and stepped forward. Tang Mu nodded and stood in front of everyone. He looked at Yang Xiaoshan coldly. "Yang Xiaoshan, to tell you the truth, you can't get the medicinal materials from my Yao Feng today. Not only today, but also in the future." Tang Mu said firmly. "Really?" Yang Xiaoshan calmed down instead. Yang Xiaoshan, don't think that you can do whatever you want in the True Dragon sect just because you have an emperor level dragon. Tang Mu said coldly, I will capture you now and then kill your emperor level dragon. When he said this, his whole body's momentum surged and he was at the peak of the emperor level. Moreover, Tang Mu's whole body was surging with flames and two strange fires flew out. Just when Tang Mu was about to make a move, suddenly, a large group of figures broke through the air. Seeing this large group of figures, Tang Mu's face changed and he quickly stopped and greeted them with Wang Yao, Huang Xin and all the Yao Feng disciples on the scene. Tang Mu greets the sect master. Greetings to the sect master. Wang Yao, Huang Xin, and all the Yao Feng disciples bowed and saluted. The people who came were none other than the leader of the True Dragon sect, Hunan, his wife Li Yuping, and his eldest disciple Fang Shaoqiang, who you also followed behind Hunan. Li Yuping glanced at the black dragon behind Yang Xiaoshan and said to Hunan, I've said before that Yang Xiaoshan should hand over the divine fire and the dragon and discipline him more. If you listen to me, there wouldn't be so many disciples injured at Yao Feng today. Hearing Li Yuping's nonsense again, Hunan's face suddenly darkened and he shouted, shut up. Li Yuping didn't expect Hunan to scold her so harshly in public, and her face looked a little ugly. Hunan turned around and looked at Tang Mu. Tang Mu, I remember that you have been the master of Yao Feng for 76 years, right? Tang Mu's heart skipped a beat and he quickly stepped forward and said, yes, it's 76 years and 3 months. Then he explained, Master, what happened today? No need to explain, I already know. Hunan interrupted, his eyes cold. Tang Mu, I remember I gave an order before that Yang Xiaoshan could use Yao Feng's medicinal materials as he wanted after entering the sect. Tang Mu defended, I'm also worried that Yang Xiaoshan will take our Yao Feng's medicinal materials at will and then use them for other purposes to gain benefits. I'm also doing this for the benefit of the sect. Hunan snorted coldly, what are you thinking in your heart? Do you think I don't know? Tang Mu's forehead was sweating. In the future, when Xiaoshan comes to Yao Feng to get medicinal materials, I don't want today's incident to happen again. Hunan said. Yes, master. Tang Mu said with a stiff face. Hunan's eyes fell on Yang Xiaoshan, and he smiled and said, you are Linga's brother, Xiaoshan, right? Originally, I wanted to visit you on your mountain a few days ago, but I was too busy these days, so I was delayed. Yang Xiaoshan clasped his fists and said, meetings, sect master. Then he said, thank you, sect master. Hunan shook his hands and smiled, what's there to thank me for? I regard Linga as my daughter, and you are Linga's brother. Just call me Uncle Hu from now on. Then he asked, in a few months, the True Dragon assessment will be held. How have you been practicing these days? The True Dragon assessment is an assessment for new disciples of the True Dragon sect. At that time, not only Yang Xiaoshan will participate in the entertainment, but all new disciples of the True Dragon sect will participate. Yang Xiaoshan said, thank you for your concern, master. I was lucky enough to cultivate a supreme magical power to the pinnacle a few days ago. Hunan's eyes lit up when he heard it. Oh, so you have cultivated 5 supreme magical powers to the pinnacle. Then he said happily, great. It's rare. I've heard that you are a martial arts genius. Work hard and wait for the True Dragon assessment to get a good score. Then he smiled and said, the rewards for this True Dragon assessment are very generous, especially the first place. You can enter the True Dragon secret realm to practice. Practice in the True Dragon secret realm. Yang Xiaoshan's heart moved. He was practicing the beginning dragon art. If he could enter the True Dragon secret realm to practice and absorb the True Dragon key there, the benefits would be self-evident. That's right, practice in the True Dragon secret realm. Hunan smiled. Then, he chatted with Yang Xiaoshan for a while, and then took everyone away. After leaving Yao Feng, Hu snorted, it's just that he has cultivated 5 supreme magical powers to the pinnacle. What's there to be proud of? Brother Yai has cultivated all 9 supreme magical powers to the pinnacle. Li Yuping also sneered, from what I see, he seems to want to enter the True Dragon secret realm to cultivate. It's just a daydream. By then, I'm afraid he won't be able to take even a single move from Yao Yi. Hunan frowned. Say less. However, although his wife's words were unpleasant, he had to admit that from the current point of view, Yang Xiaoshen's strength was still far behind Yao Yi. Yao Yi has condensed 6 of the strongest sword hearts, and the 9 supreme magical powers have reached the pinnacle. He is about to condense the best golden elixir. By the time of the true dragon assessment, Yao Yi should have been able to condense the best golden elixir. By then, Yang Xiaoshen might really not be able to take even a single move from Yao Yi. Thinking of Yang Xiaoshen's refusal to worship Denking Han as his master, Hunan had a headache. From the bottom of his heart, he hoped that Yang Xiaoshen would worship Denking Han as his master. After all, Denking Han was the ancestor with the highest level of alchemy in the True Dragon sect. Logically speaking, Yang Xiaoshen should be happy that Denking Han wanted to accept Yang Xiaoshen as his disciple. He couldn't understand why Yang Xiaoshen refused. After Hunan and others left, Tang Mu, the master of Yao Feng Peak, could only take out the medicinal materials and hand them to Yang Xiaoshen. Yang Xiaoshen took the medicinal materials and left in the air. Looking at Yang Xiaoshen who was leaving, Tang Mu's face was as gloomy as water. Master, this is so unfair. Yang Xiaoshen is a new disciple. Why can he use the medicinal materials of my Yao Feng at will? Wang Yao was still aggrieved and said angrily. Tang Mu said sinisterly, don't worry, he won't be arrogant for long. It will be the True Dragon assessment soon. By then, I will make him lose face in the True Dragon assessment. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.